We need putts in, we need edit.
Assholes.
We need all the OGs.
Can
we get the boys up in here? Yeah, let's get Robmo in here. Get Henrik in here. Let's get the whole crowd in here. Yeah, get your popcorn going. Go get a beer. Everybody go to the bathroom, get a beer. The show starts in 5 minutes. Countdown. 5 minutes. Man, he looks nervous. Look at him. He's all sweaty and shit. He's like, whew. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this.
What have I done? All right, here on Mortal Online Live.
I got dang.
Let me know, ding, 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 when y'all are ready. Feel free to go on at any point in time.
What do you want me to show you or tell you about?
You're the one that says you have all this stuff to tell us and show us.
Okay, so I'm telling you this game is completely and totally broken, right? And you're asking me why? Is that the question?
No one's. We're just asking you what you're acting like you have some major thing to expose, like aliens or some shit.
No, I'm saying this game is probably one of the worst coded games I have ever played in my life, ever.
It's a shitty game, but it works. It runs. We all play it on a daily basis. We play it. You can't deny that.
You say that as the server's down right now because it can't be played. What are you talking about?
Okay, this weekend, technically true, but most of the time, it's online.
It's the same fucking excuse every time. Every time there's a patch, it's the same excuse.
I will say, in Starvolt's defense, there are the rumors, and some have said that there is a DDoS attack, so that may or may not be out of their control. They could have better servers. They could have better stability.
Yeah, I'm sure that's an easy code for Starvolt to say.
It may be, but, just to throw it
in the same way that they had a working queue at the fucking start of the game, and that was a lie, even though they doubled down on it like 10 times.
Okay, so here's something else you need to understand. I didn't play initially. I'm only like 5-6 months old or something. So a lot of this, I can't. It's only what you guys tell me. So I don't know. I don't have my personal experience. I can only speak on that.
I don't know what you mean. What do you want me to say?
So I can't. Since I've been playing, the server's never gone down for a weekend. Besides this. So as much as you're saying, like all these other times.
Hold on. You're telling me that the game has been functioning every time they put out a patch? Every time?
I mean, every time a company puts out a patch for their game, sometimes the server goes down and needs to be hot.
Every time? Every time?
A lot of times.
I will say again, a company that is much larger with a much larger player base than Starvolt, Tarkov, the last couple of major patches they've had major issues the first and second day of the patches, and on to sometimes even the first week of a wipe, etc. So it's not unheard of for games to have issues with major patches that are so large that they have to split it into multiple patches.
Tarkov's a terrible example because it suffers from the same problem this game does.
That's still an example.
Okay, so once again, you think Starvolt's possibly the shittiest game dev company of all time? Sure,
yes.
We'll even go with that. We'll go with that.
Yes.
The game's online most of the time. It works. It runs.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Okay, go on then. Elaborate.
Okay, are we going to talk about how every single patch they have ever put out, ever, with any mechanic they have ever put out, ever, not only have they broken a major mechanic, but two, they've never put in a completed mechanic into the game once, ever have they put a completed mechanic in. Ever. Give me one example.
I would agree with you on this point, honestly. I think a lot of mechanics are uncompleted. We do get promises that everything that's built, from now on is modular, so it can be built off of. But this is something I criticize a lot too, which is why it's ridiculous you refer to us all as ass kissers of the company.
No. I'm not saying ass kissers. I'm saying the people that I talk to, it's mostly, it's this weird, what do you call it? It's this weird cope where someone's kidnapped and they love their kidnapper kind of thing. I forget what the fucking word is.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. This game has the biggest Stockholm syndrome of any game I have ever seen in my life. Because the same people that have been playing this for 15 years are experiencing the exact same issues that happened 10 years ago. Exactly the same. The exact same bugs. The exact same train of issues have happened from MO1 to MO2. And the same fucking people are going, it's all right, man. It's going to get better. We got TC coming on the way. All the players will come back. Epic Release is going to really save this game, man. There's going to be so many more players on the Epic store over Steam. What is this crazy delusions that you people keep spitting out?
But hold up, though. I'm kind of agreeing with you here. Not the straw man, but I would argue that you're right because You're the like worst case of Stockholm syndrome. They've let you free and you still hang around outside. Like,
No,
come on.
I haven't looked at this game for weeks. I heard the servers were down and I jumped in some streams because I knew it was going to be hilarious. And it is.
If you say so, bro, but you're like screaming at the top of your fucking lungs. You quit the game so long ago. It's so bad, but here you are.
Because I'll tell you this again, I said it before, this game's community and the cope and the delusion that comes with it is way more entertaining than even playing the game itself. Just the way that people interact in this game is so fucking funny.
Let me stop you right there, because this insults me. You didn't play the fucking game. You're a bagger.
Oh, whoa, okay, here's the cope.
That.
Here's the cope. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk the cope.
Well, while we're at a pause, would you gentlemen want to stream your cameras?
Oh, 100% I will.
I can't put my camera on.
Oh God.
Why do you want me? Why do you care about me putting the camera on?
It's the request of the many. That's all I'm saying. They want to.
Oh, no, sorry.
All right. Well,
Joe Man's voice trembles. I'm trembling.
Look, regardless, we didn't play the same game, and you fucking know it.
Yes, I played it way more than you did ever. So here's the thing, Rivers.
You never lost anything.
No, listen the fuck up.
Okay.
Before you give me this bullshit denial cope.
Okay,
I streamed on 5 accounts. Not a single one of them with a bag. I streamed myself going solo into the Rider dungeon for fucking hundreds of hours. Solo, no bags, very clear on my fucking stream. None whatsoever.
You just bankrolled by your bags.
No, I don't need to. How would I bankroll by my bags? The bank that you need, you get out of the Riser dungeon. What are you talking about? You get the grain steal from the dungeon. What the fuck do you mean?
Dude, do you know how much money you can make by just moving the same product from city to city in large quantities with no risk of losing it?
Okay, first of all, one, you can't risk losing anything in this game. The only risk here is your fucking time in transferring, because there ain't nobody on the fucking map, man. What is this such delusion? I could walk from any fucking city I want and never see anyone if I didn't want to. It's so fucking easy. This game is so goddamn big and so fucking empty that this weird fucking delusion that you think there's some kind of a risk to transfer anything in this game is stupid.
Hold on a second.
This game.
If that's so stupid, then why are you bagging? Then
no
shit.
Okay, here's what I'm going to explain to you.
Please.
Because I spent like so many hours in this game having my time wasted by Starvault. Here's what I would tell you right now. I would happily have bags as long as I could transfer the weight, because the weight is what they fuck you with. The weight is how they waste your fucking time, because you can't bring more than 4 or 5.5 stacks on a fucking horse at one time. Right? And you have to transfer shit on a fucking map that's so goddamn massive it takes 45 minutes to ride a fucking cross. You're telling me, seeing no one, I have to do that trip 15 times a day if I wanted to transfer 30 stacks. I wouldn't give a fuck if the bags worked and they dropped everything, if I could just transfer a larger amount of weight, because that's how fucking dog shit this game is. The community's been asking for ways to transfer more shit for the longest time. People were voting for wagons and shit back in the day, and they don't even give it to you. It's 100% a quality of life to even want to play this fucking game, because it wastes your time. This game wastes your time more than any game I've ever played in my life. They disrespect your time in every way. Like, the best way to level your crafting, get the shittiest materials and spam out 2,000 of the same fucking thing, holding spacebar on a crafting menu. Come on, dude, don't give me this bullshit and tell me this game doesn't disrespect your time in every fucking turn.
Why are you so angry about it, though? Like, it's a game.
What?
Like, I get worked up. I get it.
You're fucking game of shit, and I'm telling you why it's shit.
Just to take up for him a bit, I will say, as like one individual kind of, whether you put yourself in that corner or not, one individual cornered will tend to be a bit more defensive in situations like this. So I can understand like the emphatic nature of his voice, or feeling the need, you know, like,
yeah, I can get that too.
I'm not going to hold that against anybody.
Yes.
But the one thing, like when you're saying about the weight issue, that the whole weight issue, the carry weight of a character, the carry weight of a horse, that is part of the game. A Shivra can only carry 34 to maybe 50 kg, whereas an Ogmere with its clades, etc., can carry almost 100 kg. Like, that is the carry weight, and working around the over encumbered system is a major part of the game. Whether it's armor, whether it's shields, whether it's actual inventory weight, horse bag weight, whatever you want to call it. And I do agree there should be a way to move more shit, but cheating shouldn't be the way to do that. And whether or not when it called bagging, exploiting, cheating is exploiting.
Well, here's the other thing.
I don't want to argue about that.
No, it's 100% exploit. I don't care about that. You call it cheat, whatever. I don't care. I literally don't care because I was so fucking fed up with this game. I literally don't care. I'm no problem because I'm so fed up with the bullshit and the lies I've been fed for fucking over a year that I don't give a shit.
Then why don't you disconnect yourself from the game?
I have, but then I come back to have some fun. You guys lose your minds. So
no one's losing their mind. You're the one that sounds like it, but
you guys got.
I'm gonna say,
like, oh, the bagger's back. He's mad because you can't join the game. Like I can literally show you. I can log in right now if you wanted to. Right now.
So you have it installed?
No, I don't. But I can install it in like 5 seconds because I've got internet.
I agree with some of your points, but I mean, it's just all about priorities. They're a small dev team. There's only so much we can do, and we need to vocalize as a community after we play. We're kind of like beta testers.
And you're 100%
because this game is not released.
This game is still an alpha.
I agree. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
I will say, I think everybody in the chat and in this conversation would agree. Steam release or not, the game is very much in the early access or beta stage, especially compared to games that are admittedly early access and beta. So I think that's something we can all agree on. This game has made you buy a release, and then you're basically paying to be their fucking beta testers. Is 100% what this game is.
That's a lot of games nowadays. That's almost a lot of games.
Not an excuse. That's not an excuse.
I agree. They do need to perform to a certain level.
The meaning of an early access game to play devil's advocate. Like when I played Marauders early access and early betas, alphas and shit, I was literally paying them to test their game.
Yeah, but this isn't even advertised as an early access. It's advertised as a release.
Yeah.
I agree.
Full release.
You should read my Steam review because I agree with a lot of these points. 100%.
But the real problem comes from it's the fact the community's been so like oblivious to this, I say, and it's more from people that coming in and haven't played the game and haven't experienced the same shit all this fucking time. They don't realize that 90% of the problems with this game and the exploits and all the issues have been reported to StarVault. They know everything that's going on, but they choose to keep their priorities onto random bullshit that does not improve the game, like a fucking weather system. What?
No, hold up right there. I think you can say whatever you want, but me personally, I think for as simple and kind of baseline as that edition was, I think the weather and the skybox changes actually raised the bottom quality bar of the game higher. I think as simple as that was to add to the game, in my personal opinion, I think it just made things more beautiful. It added to the ambiance. It added to the ability to get immersed in your environment. So like some people can shit on that. I personally fucking love it. Like GK, well, I don't know if you've played in GK since the weather. I'm not going to go any further into that. But like when you're on foot and it's foggy as fuck, the sky's black, it's pouring the rain, and you're like dodging fucking mounted, running all around you and shit, hiding in rocks. I personally love it, and I don't think it's a shit addition. I think it was something that they were able to add fairly quickly, fairly easily, and I think it added a lot to the game.
Here's the point, is that it should not have been a priority. And I don't think it was added fairly quickly and fairly easily because he's been talking about it for months.
Well, I mean, comparatively to like elementalism, that's been, split over 2 patches, that's caused these issues, etc. It wasn't an addition. Even with Beast Mastery, I think when they added Beast Mastery, the server was down for like 8+ hours that day. So, just being devil's advocate again.
No, I agree. They have their priorities all fucked up. I agree with both of you on that 100%.
But it's the same clip you hear every time that, well, they're a small dev team and like these things just take time. No, it's literally incompetence from the top, and no one wants to hold fucking the people accountable that are responsible for it. None of them. Because every fucking every fucking person wants to suck Henrik's fucking dick because that's the easiest way to get attention in the community, and it's fucking nauseating.
I disagree. I don't do that. If you saw my stream just a couple days ago, I talked to Henrik in a very terrible way a couple of times. Like I don't.
Yes, there are some streams that Henrik kind of avoids because there are a few people who may come a little too directly at him. You'll see him in Jack's stream, you'll see him in Barados' stream, you'll see him in Lourdes' stream, because you'll never see any of those 3 except maybe Jack ask him a very hard and direct question.
Yeah.
So and I'll say this again. I said this, I didn't didn't say this exactly, but I'll say this here now, Henrik, if you can hear me, I'd love to come on to the dev stream and voice chat, please. And I'll behave myself, but I do have some hard hitting questions I'd like to ask you that I feel like do get dodged. I agree.
Yeah, like
here's an
increase the
interesting point I'll
yield
give
for
to you
fucking
guys.
wood cutting.
Let me get some logs here.
Yeah, please show us whatever you have to show us. But I also would like to come back and touch base on you cheating.
On me cheating?
Yeah, because you didn't play this game if you were bagging.
I didn't bag until fucking I realized it was never going to be fixed. Basically, that's how it worked out for me. And I realized, why the fuck am I wasting my goddamn time?
Is that a year? Is that 6 months? Is that 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like,
that's probably 6 months after release. And the thing is,
I just think it's bullshit for you to sit here and say the game's so dead and empty and PvP.
The game is released. Like
but then you'll sit there and bag shit for no risk. It just doesn't make sense. It contradicts.
It is a very large contradiction.
Again, I understand the point you're making, but again, as I just said before, I've streamed over hundreds of hours with my accounts, going in, risking all of my shit, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Once again, it doesn't matter when you can bag when you're not streaming and no one knows about it. And you can go on stream. I would do that. Take stacks of steel or gold or whatever, sell it for all my shitty Ryzar kits, and go into the dungeon on stream and act like I'm tough shit.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Once again, it doesn't
matter. You have this weird delusion that this game is risky in some way when it's not. It never was. It never has been.
Once again, it's not risky when you can just make free money whenever you want, like you did.
Again,
it's like printing money.
I never even made any fucking money doing this. You know what I use this for? I use this to level necromancy because I didn't want to waste 300 more fucking hours farming the goddamn carcasses out in the Crane Valley.
Because it's dangerous.
No, not because it's dangerous. I don't care if I lose it. I don't give a shit about losing.
Then why did you put it in the bag?
The time waits.
You have to do the time anyway. You have to do it in.
It saves you time. It literally saves you time because I don't have to run back and forth from the 300 fucking times for no reason with no one coming to kill me.
Well, maybe you just need to get good and kill them then when they come for you. That's what you're arguing. It's a full. No, you have what?
Any fucking risk, dude. Like nothing I had. I didn't give a shit about it.
You obviously did. You were scared to lose it. You were scared to lose your time.
This weird. Yeah, I was scared to lose time. Time is what matters to me. Losing the shit in this game has never mattered because nothing has ever been hard to get in this game without bags. Regardless, nothing has ever been hard to get.
Then why did you use bags? Then why did you use that?
My fucking time. Do I want to waste my fucking time to move one thing from one side of the map to the other because there's no one playing the fucking game? So for me to go find someone and to go fight them, I have to transfer so much shit from one place to the other just to find players in the goddamn game. Yeah, that is it, it's a cope, whatever you want to call it. That's what the game is. That's what the game is. If you don't want to waste your fucking time, that's what you have to do.
Well, it just depends on what somebody's definition of wasting their time is. Because I'm a person who, my first character was completely solo. I spent the first like 500, 550 hours on the game with my dick in my hand, exploring every inch of the map. You know,
and you realize there was nothing there. Yeah,
well, no. I mean, after 500 and some hours. Well, I mean, do like I spent a lot of time in the jungle. Does the jungle need some love? Yes. Why the jungle hasn't got more POIs? The jungle is such a cool area for more dungeons, etc. It's just like part of the game is like the
losing your stuff and dying.
I've got to go here. It's going to take this amount of time.
No risk of losing
I'm going to lose
dying.
this. I'm going to lose that. Like that's
have untouchable banks, and you kids are coping about transferring with bags while you got a fucking bag or bank that can't be touched in every goddamn.
It's not about that. We're talking. Listen. Yes, it does. Stop. Why are you? Yes, it does. Listen. Yeah.
No, you're role playing that there's some fucking risk.
No, I'm not. Here, let me give you an example of a way that you.
In this game.
Okay, can I? So what if you're like a necro dungeon and someone's camping the exit? Like this happened to us, and it was my first time we ever went there. We got to the end, and bam, we got killed, and we lost all of the stuff that we had on us from the necro dungeon. I'm a solo. I can't go run, necro dungeon every weekend with my huge guild. So someone with a bag can just stick all those goodies in their bag, and who cares that they died? They got to keep all of that stuff. And I would imagine you've done that at least once. Tell me.
I've never needed to.
See, this is all okay. You never needed to, but you still used it.
Hold on. A lot of people.
I told you my use. Like
a lot of people would also say, yeah, you never had to use it because you're in Levia, quote unquote, one of the top guilds, best PvP guilds, etc.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of the 10, a group you run into, even if you're outnumbered 6 to 10, you all are better and more cohesive as a group and will most likely win that situation. Now that's going with you towards you saying, well, I don't lose shit anyway, but then it's still then why fucking have even one account bagging? And you can say save time, but like when you're on those 5, 10, however many accounts you had streaming and you're not bagging, so are you literally just like holding your dick in your hand, wasting time the whole time? Like, how's that going?
What am I doing when I'm playing the game? I'm looking for PvP because you can't do that when you're spending 10 hours running back and forth between towns, you know?
True. But I mean, it's just one of these things. Like this game and MMOs in general are based off the whole game is based off of a massive time investment. And every MMO, some have some sort of fast travel, etc. But there's always travel. There's always a large map, etc. Like even in New World, like they had fast traveling, but you couldn't just constantly nonstop fast travel. You had to have, Azog or whatever the fuck it was, Azoth to travel. So like, I get what you're saying, but like that's also kind of a core
I'm all for time
foundation
investment.
in MMOs.
I'm all for time investment if it's actually worth the time. Nothing in this game has ever been worth the time that it wastes ever.
Well, then just stop playing. Let it go.
That's what I'm telling you.
But you come back and like go on these crazy rants where you're like screaming at the top of your lungs.
I'm telling you, this game has so many fucking problems with its exploits.
And we disagree. We agree with some of the stuff you say, obviously.
You don't think it does?
Look, not so much that I don't want to play the game is the point, like you do. Like you hate it so much you don't want to play it.
The question is, do you actually know what's going on?
I'm asking you to explain. What else?
Okay.
You've been telling us. Tell us more.
Okay, now we can get into it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna put a fucking a screenshot for you, and let's see what's going on here. You've been in the Riser dungeon, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you watched my stream?
I'm sorry, I haven't. Not in a long time.
Yeah, I go in there solo with my bagged gear all the time.
That's why I'm telling you, I don't.
Well, that's what kind of pisses me off here, bro.
The servers are down, and I'm loving the fact.
Okay, so just to be brief here, like the last couple weeks, Sean has been nice enough to let me live out a full green warrior, a little tiny house up in GK next to the Levia keep outside of Rizar Dungeon, and I've been running it with pretty much nothing. We started with just bone tissue naked, essentially. I can barely fucking block a Rizar. I'm so bad at this game. So I sit down there and struggle, deal with Levia, Nightfall, anybody else. That place is a fucking hell zone for me. So to know that you used a bag, whether or not you used it in the dungeon or not, just knowing you had a bag, streamed the game, took money from people through donations and acted like you were legit really bothers me, man.
Take any money from people
didn't sub? People never donated bits to you ever?
No.
Ad revenue like you were memeing about? You said all of this in my chat.
Everything I got is from ad revenue. Everything.
Nobody ever subbed.
No, I don't think I have any fucking subs.
Hustler told me he subbed to you. At least one person.
I was playing Dark and Darker, not this game.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying it bothers me to some level.
It's some weird moral righteous high ground you're trying to take here. That's fucking.
Not really. I just think that you were cheating in a game and I wasn't cheating. I'm not trying to be that way.
My viewers or some shit, dude. Like what?
We'll get away from that.
They don't like me because I'm a shit talker. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, we'll get away from that. Still, we'll keep it in game then. I go down in that Rizar dungeon and I don't have a bag, never had a bag, never cheated in this game in any way, shape, or form, nowhere close to it. So it just bothers me. You sat there and streamed it, acted like you were legit.
Did I stream myself bagging? No, ever. Never.
Yeah, because you were too scared to. You didn't want people to know you were bagging.
But let's hold on.
You wanted people to think you were
both
legit.
of you for a second.
No, I didn't care if people thought I was legit. The entire time I played this game, I've been accused of exploits.
If you don't fucking cut off, I'll mute you motherfuckers, both of you. It goes for both of you. All I'm saying is you made me forget my fucking point, too. God damn it, you made me forget my point!
He was asking me about Rizar Dungeon. Why don't you go with that? Just tell us about Rizar Dungeon. Let's go from there.
You know the chests in the Rizar Dungeon, right?
Yeah. Well, not all of them. Not by heart. I'm new.
Right now, 100% guarantee this, and through all the way since release, there have been hackers that fly in there, and they don't go around in the dungeon. You know how it works? They can literally teleport the bags of everything and every chest to them anywhere in the world, anywhere, and loot them on the spot because this game is client-sided. Right?
Oh,
and if you want proof,
Sean Trey just reminded me, it was about streaming with bags. Don't you dare sit there and act like the fact that you didn't stream on your bag account is like some badge of honor. You did that. No. Well, hold on. You did that because you didn't want to get banned on Twitch. Because that's a bannable offense on Twitch. If you cheat on Twitch and stream it, you're fucking banned.
I mean,
you did.
hold on.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. No. I already said it once. You didn't want to get banned on Twitch. You didn't want to get banned in game. You didn't want the consequences and the repercussions of using a fucking bagging account. So don't use that as a badge of honor. Thank you, John Trey. Thank you for reminding me because I think that is very important. You didn't do that because you're honorable. You did that for selfish reasons I just mentioned. I'm unmuting.
I never said otherwise. What are you talking? I never said any otherwise.
You didn't say otherwise.
I said.
You didn't say that you said otherwise, but that's the implication. If you've ever watched It's Always Sunny, that's the implication. That is why you would say that, is to be like, well, hey guys, I never streamed on the accounts I was cheating on because I'm a good guy. I'm unmuting you again. I'm just saying that. I just wanted to get that out there.
Oh my God, you gonna let me talk or not?
You're
or are
good.
you just gonna
Go
keep
ahead.
talking?
You're good.
Like, fuck, man. Holy shit. I said, for the reasons that I said it, was in response to Rivers saying, oh, you would go down and you wouldn't lose anything. And I said, that's impossible because I fucking streamed it.
Well, my point is if you're using a bag, cheating to get money in other ways, then anything you bring into Rizar Dungeon is bullshit. If you're cheating in any way to gain something from the game, material value, whatever it is, then there's no risk anymore because you have free money. That's my point.
There was never a risk from the beginning, is what I'm telling you.
Well, there is a risk when you don't cheat. There is.
There's no risk. Here's the thing, man. Like, you need to take a hard look at yourself and go, do you actually expect the people that are playing this game every day, all the time, these super tryhard guilds that have, you're saying you don't think any of them have ever exploited? Is this some weird delusion?
No, I think they exploit too. Anybody that does. This isn't just bags. This isn't just you. There's other people besides you.
Here's something I'm going to inform you. You think it's bad. I'm agreeing with you. Do you think I'm the only one?
I know that there's more. I got you right here, right now, though.
I'm telling you. Here's what I'm going to explain to you.
Okay.
Because I am not actually banned. I lost 2-3 accounts. There is nothing stopping me in this game from logging back in right now and doing whatever the fuck I want. Just like there has never been any consequences or repercussions for anyone that has even hacked. In fact, the people who hack in this game get less fucking repercussions than the people who exploit it, which is the funniest thing in the world to me. So fucking unbelievably funny. Because Starvolt has no idea. They have no idea how to ban players. The only reason I lost the extra accounts is because people knew who I was. They looked at the ban times on a friend's account on my Steam and they said, oh, that's going to be Shadow. And we know he uses these other accounts. The accounts they didn't know about were never banned because Starvolt has no fucking clue whatsoever who's doing what and where. And they never fucking have. And this weird delusion, like, you got bagged, you fucking idiots. Everything that people had when they were bagging, they put into an asset on an alt account that no one knows about, and Starvolt sure as shit doesn't know about because they have no idea how to track the fucking assets. And they've had it ever since. No one lost a fucking thing from the bagging. That's why it's the biggest fucking joke in the community. And this community is like, good job, Edward. You really got him out of the game. It's this weird fucking delusion that you all have.
Not me.
All right, hold on a second. If there's anything you guys want to hash out, because I mainly want to give you two the time to kind of talk, because that was the whole point of this. But like Squirrely mentioned that he might have interest in joining, etc. A member of Levia who was active during the bagging, etc., who quit, supposedly his words, quit playing during that time because of how everyone handled the bagging situation, including Starvolt, Levia, everyone who was doing it. So you guys, if there's anything in particular y'all want to go, it's your kind of, it's your all's ring right now. But if you want to, and here in a little while, there are a few other people who also, have interest in getting their experiences and their information, etc., opinions out there. Continue.
They can join now, as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna keep like getting on him for being a cheater, but that's not like 1v1 or anything. I mean, other people can join at any time unless he cares about that.
I just wanted to make sure because again, this all started because you two gentlemen wanted to speak, and I don't want to just butt in myself and then just start randomly adding people into a conversation that was going to be between two men.
Where can I send an image in this Discord?
I sent you a friend invite if you want to send it to me in the message, like just a direct message, or if you want to put it in like the not safe for work. Well, actually, don't put it there because if I check that on stream, that's not safe for work.
Yeah, I DM'd it to you. You decide if you want to put it on stream or not. It's up to you.
So what exactly is this a picture of? That way,
this is a hacker. There's a hacker teleporting all of the bags to him on his client and reading them.
Okay, so we shied away from this. I am not under this delusion that they caught all the things that have ever been cheated or exploited, not only from the bagging, but from the dawn of time in this game. I'm sure there's tons, if not more than 50% of the things that exist in this game are illegitimate. I would honestly believe that. It's more about the fact that you guys were cheating, you know? That's really it. Everybody knows you guys cheat. And everything you've ever done doesn't matter now. I think that kind of is the point.
I don't care. I don't have to feel to justify the need.
Okay, fair enough. Sure.
That's my point. I literally don't give a shit.
I just think
I don't give a fuck.
And that's fine, but you can't then sit there and be like, oh, me and you were in the same position and this and that because we were playing different games. Like, you just weren't playing the game.
You've been playing for over 1,500 hours, and I got fucking bored of it.
I just disagree.
And I got tired of the exploits, and I got tired of nothing being fixed. Like, I told myself the same delusion in beta. I was like, no, if they don't fix these fucking exploits, I'm not playing this game. And then I kept playing with the same old Stockholm syndrome. Like, oh, they'll fix it down the line, man. Like, I'm sure they're getting to it. It's a small dev team. The same old. I told myself the same fucking excuses a million fucking times, man. The same ones that everyone in this community still fucking goes with.
All right. Well, Squirrely and a gentleman whose accounts were, I believe you said Yeezy and Jay-Z, have joined the conversation.
What up, dudes?
Hey, Squirrely.
Yeah, hello.
How you doing, Rivers?
Jeff Goldblum.
Hi, Jeff. Goldblum. I love Jurassic Park.
Pretty sick movie.
I love Jeff. I love Jeff Goldblum. He used to be a man crush of mine. You know.
I hear he's very well endowed, actually. Like,
I've heard the same.
I've heard like girth of a fucking pop can. Soft. Like.
So can we get back here too? So there's all these cheats, exploits in the game. StarVault does this awful, terrible job. There's cheaters. Every other player is a cheater, blah, 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 whatever else you want to say. We enjoy playing the game. Like, what's the big deal? Some of us just don't give a fuck to the point where we just will play. We don't care.
Yeah.
And you're fine to spread that same delusion to the rest of the community, and that's what I dislike.
It's not a delusion. People are allowed to enjoy what they want.
It's a delusion.
People can enjoy what they want. What do you mean?
Yeah, Can I not willing to share that information with the community?
I'll share anyone. I will.
It's a serious fucking problem, and the devs aren't willing to fix it. But I'm just playing anyways.
So, Doom, you have a tremendous amount, or Shadow. I don't know. Shadow, you have a tremendous amount of passion. Let me just say that first and foremost. And second, every game, every MMO, and pretty much every game that has ever existed since like Sega and Super NES has had hacking and cheats. It's just gonna happen. Look at Escape from Tarkov right now. It's gonna have cheats. It's gonna have exploits.
Terrible excuse for the devs.
It's not an excuse. It's a reality. It's unfortunately a reality.
In fact, it's even proven that.
Tell me a game,
and they've been proven that they've not been doing enough to.
Tell me a game that does not have cheaters and exploiters.
Well, I think that's a bad argument, honestly, because
it's not an argument.
Anytime security is involved and hacking is involved, the way it typically works is the hacker is always in the position where if he tries hard enough, if he wants to get into a system, he can always do it. And this is known by security professionals everywhere. Like in any industry, right?
That's why it's a job. It's a continuing problem.
There will always exist, but what a company should do to combat hackers is essentially just fuck them over at every fucking opportunity they can. And to be honest, StarVault definitely doesn't do a good enough job of doing that.
Let me be something real fucking clear, a response to something I'm getting in the chat. It's a silly excuse for exploiting. All you do is keep reporting him until they fix it. But you guys just kept abuse it and kept it secret. You can't expect StarVault to fix something time to time when you were not reporting it. And I'm telling you, right now, since the fucking beta, every single exploit that's been found in this game has been reported. And you fucking delusional retards that believe that somehow the StarVault doesn't know about this, you're out of your minds. Unironically, up until the month before the fucking bagging, we sent actual fucking pictures of everything on how the bags worked to fucking Robmo, and he actually accused us of photoshopping the fucking evidence, saying that it did not exist. There was no bags in the game. That's how fucking bad this company is. That's what I'm telling you.
And if that's all true, I'll take you at face value there, then that's on Robmo. You can't blame the whole company for the actions of one person, even honestly, if it's
the buck at the top. Robmo is just a talking point for Henrik.
So let's get to Henrik.
It's all back to Henrik. Sure, everyone wants to lame on Robmo. Robmo's literally just a punching bag. That's what he was hired for, was to be the punching bag. That's all he is. Right?
Well, I mean, that's essentially any sort of customer-facing, customer service, HR, any of that. That's just part of that.
That's any community manager. Yeah, that's just any community manager.
He has no influence on how things are fixed in the game. That goes to the
or how they're handled.
Henrik, that goes to
So why did you send your exploits and your complaints to Robmo when he's just the community manager and you just stated
that doesn't even matter.
No power?
Farmer Joe. People definitely Farmer Joe.
Because otherwise it doesn't get across.
Everyone, like,
what? So you just
everyone knows to report
to
something.
Robmo.
Everyone who reports.
Go ahead, Jeff.
It was definitely reported to multiple StarVault employees.
Yeah,
like across the board.
Like, I would imagine
to act like it wasn't is silly.
That's bullshit.
I'm just telling you, the entire company handled it inadequately. Like it was definitely reported for months.
Okay,
he's a StarVault employee. That was his official response as a StarVault employee, was to deny the existence completely.
Okay, so you voice your opinions that you think Robmo's a terrible community manager, provide the proof, and let Henrik know that his security system is a joke and it should be #1 priority.
But as Jeff said,
beta is what I'm telling you. It's not a Robmo issue.
Man,
I'm saying it's more confident to have a fucking community manager.
You need to stop yelling, bro.
But as Jeff said, like hacking it's a problem in every industry out there. Like, it is a thing that if somebody is upset and they have the knowledge, they're going to backdoor and get in. I mean, look what's happened to cryptocurrency. Look what's happened to several other industries. Look what's happened to Salesforce. Yeah, that is a valid argument. However, with a small indie developer that has less than 50 people on the team, and
they have 5 coders, by the way, 5 coders.
That's cool, man. It's a small development team. Like I said, it's under 50 people. It's very, 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 very small. It takes a lot of resources and a lot of money to combat hackers, because there are development teams out there where their sole purpose, all they do is develop hacks.
Let me tell you something.
BSG is a good example.
It's not that they're not combating like these hackers are doing so well. It's that they're anti-cheat, their safeguards were pretty much non-existent.
But that's every game, dude.
It's not.
Yeah.
You're not trying to tell me they're non-existent in every game at all. That's such a weird fucking delusion, man.
It's not a delusion. It's a reality.
Let me tell you something about how this game works, right?
Again, tell me a game that doesn't have hacks. I would like to hear a game.
Can I get a word in real quick? Can I get a word in real quick before we get too far off topic? The thing with the bags, though, like, we keep jumping back and forth between bags and the hacks. They're two separate issues, right? Like, and how they were handled.
I would agree. Exploit
is like a very different thing. Like, the issue here is that the bags, the thing that basically half the community was banned over. Like, there's maybe half's an exaggeration.
Banned in quotation.
I have heard the numbers 250 to 300 thrown around in a chat that Henrik was in, that he was active in, and he did not say it was less or more than that. So I would say that might be an accurate number of accounts.
I'm pretty sure at the time the active
player base at the time was maybe 1,000 peak player base in 24 hours when I started.
Yeah, it was it's close to half. It's a significant portion of their players, right?
Well, considering that I would assume everybody in this chat, other than Squirrely and Rivers, has at least 1 to 2 other accounts. You could say that 1,000 concurrent peak player base was probably
stay strong, Rivers. Stay
less
strong.
than that. Was probably maybe 600 to 700. But you've got multiple people, even me, who are logging multiple accounts for handfuls of hours every day.
Yeah, for sure. But like the point is, that was the biggest action they ever took against cheating, quote unquote cheating in any form, right? And the hackers are still here. Like the people
they'll always be here though.
Well,
they'll never go away.
Got punished.
They're not trying
so
to
much
fight
harder.
it in any way. They're not trying. They're not trying to fight it in any way.
Who did the bagging got punished so much harder than any hacker has ever been punished in this game. Like that's what I take issue with. Like it was a game bug that they let stay in the game since beta. They let people exploit it all throughout the game, and then they just banned like people retroactively, even if they had caught them before. Even if they caught someone with bags before, like 2 months before, and gave them a 3-day ban at the time or something. I heard of players like that happen. They then gave them a retroactive permanent ban. So just the way that they handled that whole situation, like I agree, bagging is one of the like fucking shittiest exploits in this fucking game. It removes all risk. It removes like any actual like.
Not even that, Jeff. Do they know about the fucking unbans?
Yeah, people got unbanned after the whole bagging fiasco too. Like, so it's just like SV doesn't really make up their mind.
Were they people who were bagging? Was it a false? Like it's like with John Oldman.
No,
John Oldman was banned for like days.
Hold on.
Well, hold on a second. Oh, John Oldman, for example, was banned for days because that man's making fucking money, and they had to look at that situation. So was it a false ban or a temp ban just to look into?
What it was if you gave them proof of you reporting it previously, they unbanned you, even though you exploited it like all throughout. In my opinion, the way that should have been handled is they should have literally just deleted all the characters associated with a bagged account.
I completely agree with that.
Here's the thing: is they didn't know how. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you right now. And like people are like, you're complaining that cheaters were punished when he was banned. I'm telling you, I'm not punished. No one who was banned has been punished. Not a single fucking one. And you people are still not understanding that.
Didn't you say you had like 3 accounts banned?
Yeah. So
is that not being punished?
I will say
put all my loot in. You put all your loot in a fucking house on an alt, and they don't know where it is, and they don't do anything about it because they have no clue how to. They never have. And that's what every single person that did who got bag banned, every single one, they also have all the proceeds that they got from the bagging. All of them. Every single fucking one. And you don't even know who these people are because they're not willing to even advertise or say who they banned for. So they're playing on accounts that you probably even know and their account was banned. But because you don't know that account was banned, you didn't even know these people are still using their alts. Like there are so many people within this community that would be fucking immediately banned if they had actually shown like a wall of shame and said, here's the accounts that were banned for it. Do you understand that? I'm telling you, they had no idea. They had no idea what alts people were using, where they had their assets stored, nothing. All they did was ban the accounts that had the bag on it directly, and then whatever else was snitched or reported to in correspondence. That's it. Nothing else.
Well, in my opinion, I think it should be a firm line. I don't give a fuck if you're exploiting. I don't give a fuck. Now, obviously, there are different types of exploit.
I 100%
hold on.
100% agree with you.
There's some people will laugh when I say this, but there was an exploit I did that they just fixed in this most recent patch. I'm a master craftsman, grandmaster craftsman, grandmaster armor, and when I was spam crafting shit to get levels, you could click the crafting button, hold spacebar, and if you had a second monitor, you could click off the game, and it would automatically craft. Some would say that's an exploit. Some say that's me exploiting. Now, is that bannable? I would say no. I would say no.
I'll have the exploit for that time save.
But my point is, I feel as though hacking and exploiting, if the company says this is not a game mechanic, this is not intended, this should not be taken advantage of, I think both hacking and exploiting should be punished equally. I think it should be That's
100% agree, and they haven't been.
That's my point. I think
we can all agree to that, but the point is that the issue at hand still is that SV has never been consistent about that specific subject. Even, for example, take the spurt casting patch. Does anyone remember the spurt casting?
Yeah, the
SV just came out and said, oh yeah, this one, guys, you can do this exploit. And for like a fucking week and a half, the game was cancer because like mages would literally pre-fire on you from spurt range, and spurt cast speed, and they just flame strike you or T-lash you.
Yeah, T-lash you from miles away. Yeah.
Like, or death hand you from fucking like literally across the map.
I can see both sides on that because it's like, well, it's just like, look at the situation now. It's like that's a whole major, magic and casting magic. So that's a fairly large mechanic in the game. So it's like right now when there's a large mechanic in the game, they either have to let it go till they can fix it, or just be like, fuck, we got to shut this game down.
Here's the thing, man. It's been such a flip flop on everything in the game that you don't even know what is and isn't an exploit at this point. Because just look at the fucking the flux farming, man. The flux farming, you're telling me that wasn't a bug in some way, that people were getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fluxes off of one spirit, and then people go and say, well, because Starvault didn't say that it was specifically an exploit that it's okay to do. And it's the same fucking cope every time. There's so many things wrong with the game that you don't even know. You physically cannot know if you are exploiting or not in this game, because there are so many terrible bugs and they have such a fucking gray area on everything in the game that you can't even know if you've done an exploit or not. I guarantee you 95% of the people in this fucking chat have exploited without knowing it because it's so fucking bad.
All right.
So
I mean, some people would say that what is it? Cast canceling, Squirrely. Some people could say that's an exploit.
Yeah, but you know what
I mean. So it's arguable, especially if you're fishing with something, especially Sorix right now. You take 100 Sorix, you take that to the right place. That's big fucking money. So
that's just because people got a lot of money and are kind of dumb and don't know how to catch it. But
but you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things like there are
rough Dravits. I always use the example of rough Dravits, just because they're like.
Here's my point for all of this is that you as a community need to stop this fucking cope like these things are okay, and you need to actually go out and say like these are the exploits that are happening right now, and Starvault needs to actually fucking own up to the shit that's going on.
I don't know what
they have chosen to censor everything instead. They don't have to fix it if no one knows about it. That's been the fucking way they've been since the beta. Nothing needs to be fixed if no one knows about it. The only time shit ever happens is when suddenly the community learns about it publicly, and suddenly there's an uproar, and suddenly, oh god, Henrik wants it to get fixed right now. Suddenly it needs to be fixed. It's the same fucking cycle, time and time and time again.
So why did you not become a pillar of? Why not become a pillar of the community then as a streamer and do these things? Bring it to the attention in a positive, constructive.
I'm bringing it to your attention right fucking.
He's really angry though.
He's passionate. He's passionate, guys.
Now, so I'm bringing it to your.
Yeah, but
it's a little bit of both.
He's exuding the passion in a very interesting emotional
as somebody
way.
who can get
I would
hot.
have been banned from the game.
As somebody who can get hot, I understand where he's kind of coming from, but I also say like you can tell a little bit of emotions getting in there. If you want to go get a drink, take a piss or something, we'll still be here. Trust me, man. I know how it is getting hot sometimes. I mean, fuck, I've made myself look like more of an ass on stream than probably anybody who's ever streamed this category.
I don't give a shit about raging or what. I don't give a shit.
Well, I'm just saying it's not going to be a constructive conversation if one person's having to be turned down to 30% while other people are up in the 90s and 100. Like
whatever you got to do.
I'm just saying, like, I would prefer. Again, I'm trying to not be a dick, and I'm trying to kind of help you out a little bit here. Just we want to have
what do you need help?
We want to have a conversation. We don't need the dickishness or the screaming and the getting heated. Like we're grown men. We're trying to talk here. Like that's all I'm trying to say.
Thank you, dude.
Because trust me, I know how easy it is to get heated, and I know sometimes you just need to get up and like take a breath.
How does this change my points in any way?
I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I'm just saying it's not helping. It's not helping your point.
You think like I'm not trying to win some argument with you people. That's what I'm telling you. I don't care. I don't play the game.
You care enough to be in multiple people's chats. You care enough to be in this voice chat. You care enough to continue to say that you don't care. Like, I mean, these are all things people normally do to deflect and project on other people when they actually care about the situation. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've been like, I don't fucking care. Where I wasn't like, God damn it, I care a lot about this right now. Like it's just human nature. Like we just want to have a good conversation. Of course, we can get a little heat going, but let's just kind of keep level heads here.
Yeah.
What have I said that's not been a level point?
It's not about anything that's none of the point. Yes, it's just tone and volume. That's it.
Yeah, it's all about tone and word choice and.
Can I ask you a question, Doom?
I don't care about people's receptivity is the thing. I don't give a shit. I'm past that. I'm beyond caring.
But that doesn't help your argument.
I don't care. You don't understand. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's no skin in the game for me for this. This is all you guys now. This is your game. Have fun.
But yeah, like Doom Rider is right in the sense that like more of the community needs to hold Starvault accountable. Like just in general. Like,
I think after this weekend, they very much will. Especially if there's I'm a new player. Let me tell you something. After that fucking rollback and then this shit, oh yeah.
Okay, Greg,
as much as I like Hendrick and IRL, I'd probably blow that man just to have the story to tell. But I'll tell you right now, I'm at this point. I'm not, unless there's major changes in the game, I'm not paying for a fucking single month of a sub at that price. And if this continues to be an issue, I'm not going to fucking, as much as I like the community and the game, I'm not going to invest my fucking time in it because my entire weekend is shit now. I work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I didn't get to play last night. I didn't get to play today. I won't get to play all weekend. At the best, I'll get to play Monday when I get off fucking work, finish cleaning the house, taking the dogs out, maybe at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. And I might get 4 or 6 hours out of it. So yeah, I think the community might really, especially some of the newer players who weren't around in beta, they're just starting to get hit with this shit in the face. I think the leash is getting a little short. Well, I mean, at least me personally.
Okay.
No, I think you're absolutely.
Let's talk about this for a second. Okay. When did you start playing, Greg?
It's probably been 6 months ago. A minimum of 5 to 6 months ago.
5 to 6 months. Okay. How about I know Squirrel? Have you been here
I've probably got 2K hours in the game with 1,000 of those being AFK mining.
So I played about 100 hours of MO1 before I got griefed out of the game because it was a lot of griefing back then. And then I started playing this game in beta because it was on my radar for a long time. And I did play at launch. I didn't leave Haven though because I knew that launch was going to be a dumpster fire just based on pretty much every game that's launched nowadays, even AAA. Like I always use the example of Diablo 3. Like when Diablo 3 launched back in, what was it, like 2015 or something? I took a week off of work to play Diablo 3 at launch. You could not log into the servers for Diablo 3 when that game first launched. And that is Blizzard we're talking about. That is a AAA manufacturer with well over 1,000 developers and coders working on some of these games. So that's kind of when I lost my faith in both pre-ordering as well as playing games at launch. Now, like with Starvault's very unique because one, it is a very small team. It's like I said, it's under 50 folks on the team. Two, they have stakeholders, both private and public. They are a publicly traded company, and they do have private stakeholders that infuse. A lot of people say Henrik's rich and this is his pet project, which that could very well be true. He's not wasting their. You can't say that. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with what you say because people are investing in the project, and they as a stakeholder who is investing in a company, there are regular meetings to discuss what's going on in the company.
So financial advice, but Starvault stock is probably a bad buy.
Oh, dude, Jeff, that's funny you say that, Jeff, because it's like it's a penny stock right now, Jeff. And if
it's always been a penny stock, dude.
Oh yeah, it's a penny stock right now.
Goddamn, let me go get change for $1. Get my
it's actually. I think that. Oh God, dude, go ahead, man.
Okay. Do you know that Henrik has to report to his investors, right? And they send out, was it quarterly?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why Epic launch is, going to be coming soon. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I think everybody understands that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about at launch for over a week. Henrik sent out a letter to his investors saying that they had a successful launch.
I mean,
How are you?
That's funny and all, but like either way, the financials don't really matter because obviously they're working. Like the company is afloat, the game is up. Like they have a fucking roadmap. Like even if they don't like fucking deliver half of it on time, like whatever, like they're still going. Like
Agreed.
And with roadmap,
this situation don't really like necessarily matter. I don't think Star Vault's gonna be like some big AAA company anytime soon. Like obviously MO is not.
That's so getting back to the penny stock thing, Jeff. Oh my god!
Investors about a successful launch. You don't think that's a problem?
Hold on a second. Let Squirrely get a little something in here. He's one of the newer ones to the conversation.
I was gonna. And
I'm gonna get a beverage, and I'll tell you bastards, and I'll tell everybody in chat. Be nice. I'll be right back. I'm getting something to drink. Let Squirrely have the floor.
Hell yeah, brother. So Jeff, I was gonna say because it's a penny stock right now, then it was up at $1 at launch. Like it could potentially. It's a risk. It's a big risk investment right now. But with the scope of the project and the game and what they want to actually execute, this game does have potential to revolutionize kind of how similar to what EFT has done for the first-person shooter genre. Like there is potential if they don't shoot themselves in the feet and actually not just shoot themselves in the feet, but straight up like drop a grenade on their feet. Like there is potential. It is a high risk, but that's like a completely different. Yeah, Jeff.
Already.
So let me respond though. Basically, I get what you're saying, but like to your point, like about shooting themselves in the foot, I'd say that they've already like fucking, like they've been basically trying to commit suicide. Like they've been like,
oh yeah, no, I would, yeah, but that's so I could give you a number of examples that are very similar. I mean, EFT is a great example. Like, look what's happening with EFT right now.
Because EFT has like literally like million, like tons of players. Like I don't know how many players it has, but it definitely has more than like the 2K that this game has.
I'm sorry, but you're living in.
I
think any mechanics in any way and anything in this game is revolutionary.
It's not like it's not like MO is a new game,
and I don't like want to insult you, but you've been lied to, and you're falling for a lie, man.
It's definitely a unique. I'd say that there's a few other games that are kind of like MO, but like it definitely has.
It's very niche. It's a niche market.
But like the issue is it's just not good. Like it doesn't really.
Yeah,
it doesn't really fit the niche as well as other games in the past have, and I don't think it'll ever live up to like UO or anything. Like MO is like Henrik's little retard sandbox. Like he just like it's like literally like. And he shits in it too. He literally shits in his own sandbox.
We can talk about how it's a small dev team and all that, but the biggest problems with the game come from the very top at the fundamental design, and not from the indie development, the slow development, whatever you want to say. It's the fundamental design of this game that is the most flawed thing about it.
So on that note, I think a lot of it comes down. It seems like, I don't know if you know much about project management, but it seems like they follow a waterfall technique, which is very outdated. It was very common with software development back in the day, but a lot of teams and a lot of software developers have moved to what's called an agile structure, where the Scrum is one that I'm personally familiar with.
I'm talking about the development cycles, though. That's not what I'm saying.
But it's how, like you're talking about. Bro, let me fucking talk, dude. Shut the fuck up, man.
Go ahead.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Sorry, you talk really fucking slow.
Don't let me let this squirrel off the leash, son. They go right for the nuts.
Jesus.
All right.
So you are right in the sense that it is a top-down thing. It is up to the leadership of a company to implement the project lifecycle. And in this case, they have been restructuring their project lifecycle, which is why we have sprints now and why it's broken down into segments as it is. I think they've been changing their project lifecycle, and I would actually love to sit down with Henrik and talk about that and have like a critical conversation with him regarding what their project life cycle is, because that's something that fascinates me personally, and I do think that that would be very beneficial for the community to understand in layman's terms. But there's a lot of people that don't understand how software development and how game development or even the life cycle of a project functions and works, whether it's the waterfall technique, whether it's agile scrum, whether it's what is it, Kanban. There's a number of different techniques you can follow. Software development, if you look at it on a broad scale, we have been in the arena that we are currently in, where gaming developers do not release a completed product, and there's DLCs and tons of downloads. It's not like Ultima Online, where you had to go to Best Buy or CompUSA or whatever your retailer was to buy a physical CD to install the game. So there was a lot more testing done on the front end before a product was actually released. Now, me personally, I think DayZ screwed up the entire life cycle, because DayZ was like, shoot, man, we're just going to release an alpha. And everybody bought the game because it was an incredible concept, and they had incredible salespeople pitching this game and the concept of the game. Star Citizen is another example. People have invested thousands of dollars into Star Citizen, and it's like not even halfway completed. So the project life cycle and the development life cycle has been broken in roughly the last 10 or so years. So it's, as a consumer, most people don't understand what the actual cycle is and what it takes to make a game, especially nowadays, because games aren't linear anymore. It's not like we're playing Mario Brothers or Pac-Man.
Please, man.
I mean, how many games are...
Holy shit. I got one question for you in response to that. What the fuck relevance does that have to the fundamental design of the game?
It is the design of the game. No, they are following a life cycle.
Not the vision, the development cycle. I'm talking about the design, the fundamental design.
Okay, what's the fundamental design that's so flawed?
Well, it's one server. It's one server. It's this 50-kilometer fucking world that takes like 5 hours to travel across, and there's no fast travel. Well, those are the fucking fundamental designers.
I will say, hold on a second.
Fast travel?
Those fundamental design flaws are actually certain things that draw a certain portion of the player base to the game. Like, I love the fact that it's one server. Does that cause issues? I mean, obviously, of course, there's a fucking reason no other MMO has one goddamn server. Star Citizen with server meshing, if that ever happens, would maybe be the closest thing you could consider it. But it's like, that's something I fucking love. The size of the map, that was an attraction to me as well, especially with TC player controlled towns and shit being able to be popped up here or there. But like the fast travel, I couldn't give a fuck about. It's a flip of a coin. I like riding the horse. I know Rivers personally. If you ever watch a Rivers stream, so here's the thing. You'll hear is fucking riding the fucking horse. Fucking hate riding fucking. So it's I don't agree with the first two. Maybe the third.
After the 100th hour of riding a horse, terrible.
I'm not even talking about the fucking fast travel and shit. Let's expand otherwise. I'm just talking from a point of view. They built a game in a world, right?
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. The world is absolutely beautiful.
Right, it's really an empty wasteland.
Regardless. But the point is that they built a world in the game for a server size that they knew they were never going to have, and did it anyways. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I totally zoned out there.
And the map and the things that are in it, they designed it for a server size that they knew they were never going to get.
Well, I don't know if I would say they knew.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at the player base from MO1 to MO2, there's been it's still a very small number, 1,000 people. It's not 2,000 people. That's not a lot to be playing your game, but comparative to like 77. You know what I mean? Like it's a 10 good
times
bump.
The size. So and another thing on that. I'm sorry, Greg, for talking over. Yeah,
The map is designed
I don't.
That's why it's so big. Henrik said that multiple times during beta. The map is designed so big because the server is supposed to hold around 10k players, but they've never been able to achieve any numbers close to
That's
that.
an
Like,
well, just
so that's a
like,
really interesting topic, actually. The player the player population and what the ideal
what matters.
population for the world is. I personally feel
density, right?
I feel like Maryland would feel incredibly full if there were 5K players on it. Like if there were 5,000 people playing and
only say that
running
because
around.
it would be cooler than it is now. We've never experienced 10k players. Like
It would be cluttered, dude. Like the resources and stuff, it would be crazy.
So basically, the math was done at one point with the size of the map, right? And then they measured how far the render distance was.
Do you have a link for that?
No, you're gonna have. I mean,
it's like in the Discord. Like
yeah, it was in the unofficial Discord. They calculated basically that using the online map, or the MO2 map online, right? And just taking that as, I know that's not an exact, but just a rough estimate. Right? Let's just talk rough estimates because we don't have exact numbers. A rough estimate was that we would need 68,000 players for you to be able to see another person in render range on the map at all times. That's how big the map is in this game.
I think that's good. You don't want to see someone all the time necessarily when you're out in the wild.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do, but I'm giving you an estimate of the numbers that you would need to have to see players regularly near you.
Well,
right?
one thing
let's say even half of that. Let's say 30,000.
Well,
right?
one thing I wish that they would be a little bit more transparent about is what their realistic numbers are of concurrent players. Not currently. Well, I'm not talking about currently, but when Epic release happens, what is their realistic expectation of the new number of concurrent players? Are they expecting to sell 50,000 copies and have 5,000 players additionally at launch, and that are going to stay concurrent for a few months, and then maybe that drops down to 1,000, 2,000, so we have a total of 2,000 or 3,000 concurrent players between Epic release and the old Steam players? Like, what are their actual expectations? That's one thing I wish they would kind of allude to, because you look at the map and it's like server expansion.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, does that mean alt servers? Does that mean Sarduka? Does that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that could mean that, in my opinion, like, it's just another way that they're just vague enough about things to where they can't really be held accountable for something. That's why you'll specifically never see them be like, this is when this is going to happen on this day at this time. I think they learned their lesson, but it's almost like starting to like be more of a fucking negative trait now than anything.
Now, do you guys
even tell what the number is gonna be? Like, we hit a Q today. Like you understand that, like, throughout the entire year and a half that MO2 has been up, like through its official launch, we've never had like more than like 1,500 players without a queue popping up.
Yep.
Like that's their server capacity. The only way that this game can actually work is if they have multiple servers. Like they just don't have the technology. It's a completely delusional idea to think you can support a world this big and a player population bigger than that on like just modern game servers. Like, it's just not a thing.
The netcode just doesn't work. It's literally not possible. And the fact that like
Star Citizen is literally working on the technology to make that happen.
I fucking hope they do. And I'm somebody who has bought a fucking, what is it, Avenger Titan starter ship pack, and then I bought a completely other copy of the game for a friend. So I completely support Star Citizen. That's a proper name for it, actually. Goddamn, that's a Freudian slip if I've ever heard one. But Star Citizen, I completely support it, even though some people in this fucking voice chat right now were recently calling it a fucking scam, Rivers.
I think it's gonna be a good game.
They're literally developing their own technology.
It's gonna be another, like, I would say like 5 to 10 years,
now
Jeff,
let's take that in reference,
for the technology to catch up.
That
MO2's the same way, though.
Why do you think that suddenly, magically, Henrik has found a way that they haven't?
My question would be, I don't know anything about game development. Isn't there some way that we can instance things,
Well,
sewers, things like that? Would that not allow further capacity?
Henrik has stated from the beginning that he never wants instances in this game. That was
yes, instances
part
would work.
of the fundamental design flaw that I have been saying. That is a fundamental design flaw from Henrik specifically.
Listen, when I say instances, I don't mean you go down into sewers 1, sewers 2. I mean that the sewers, like when you enter them, you're like switched to a different server, which allows the main server to have a higher capacity. I don't mean multiple instances of the sewer or multiple versions of town.
Yeah, and
you're
then
just
that's
talking
one
about
of
like entering the sewers and you're in another location off the main map type of deal.
You have that.
I'm gonna say one last thing, and then I gotta go.
Streaming load lines are. That's what that is.
Let Jeff get his last words.
The way that the game should work, as far as the system or the server system goes, the only realistic way it can work is if they have regional servers. Like they're like if they go into this Epic release and they keep the same server structure, it'll absolutely just be a queue festival again. Like you'll have maybe like 3,000, 4,000 current players, but half of them will be in a queue. If they don't implement some sort of like system where like you can either like start on a new server and play on a new server that's more regional to you, like this game just has no long-term future. Like that's just,
it'll be like it's gonna be in development forever.
That's a fact.
The technology needs to catch up. I would say the technology needs to catch up with that.
They're gonna do the Epic release, and anyone who looks at the game is gonna be like, oh, this is $40 and it's a $15 sub. They're gonna look into how the game fucking works. And when they do that, they're not gonna fucking buy into a game where they get 120 ping in a modern environment, especially when all the reviews on Steam are terrible. Who doesn't use both Epic and Steam at this time? The idea that this Epic release is gonna save the game is like pure delusion.
Yeah,
I agree.
Everything that Henrik says.
Well, that's another reason why I've asked. I'm curious about what their actual expectations are. Are they expecting to sell 1,000 copies, 100,000 copies? Are they like that delusional? That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you this right now.
On that note,
you're never gonna get an answer. You're never.
I gotta go, guys.
Well, Jeff, out of curiosity, Jeff, before you go, Jeff, out of curiosity, like obviously Star Vault's very like hush hush on like what their expectations are on how many copies of the game are sold and what they thought would sell. The game blew up at launch. What do you think, Jeff, is the number that Star Vault was expecting to sell at launch? Because MO1 was obviously very niche, very small.
They said 100,000.
They said 100,000.
That was the number that they said to invest. They said 100,000 to invest.
Okay. Gotcha.
They said this game will be a game that will support 100,000.
But do you think they were expecting to sell that many copies, like right off the bat, like first day, like it did?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Henrik stated at the start they were ready for 100K. What are you talking about?
It could mean anything with Henrik, dude. Like,
yeah, you gotta take what he says.
He always shifts it like through. Like Henrik is a liar. Like that. Let's just get that out, right?
Well,
like,
I wouldn't necessarily go and say like a liar as in like purposefully, but I will say he's a bit of, I don't know if a wanderlust is the right word, but you can see the stars twinkling in his eyes at times when he's like, this will happen, that will happen. Well, and like as somebody who's spent, I don't use macros. I've never used a fucking macro. I don't care if you do or not. I don't care if it's bannable, whatever. I don't give a shit. I personally don't. I just recently leveled necromancy from 0 to 92. Pressing goddamn Q and fucking E for, I'm not even exaggerating, a week and a fucking half, at times spending 7 straight hours gaining 3 goddamn levels at a time. And when I get that up there to 92, you know what I get? I get All Surge, a spell that just got nerfed that doesn't work fucking properly, because if I cast it on somebody and it's not directly on them, it doesn't do damage to anybody in the area. I gotta cast it on myself somehow. I get fucking Death Hand that's got the most fucked up animation and targeting and range, etc., of anything in the goddamn game. You get Crawling Hands that completely doesn't work. You get Miasma, just like All Surge. I can cast Miasma on the satyr right in front of me. The cloud pops up and the motherfucker just looks at me and laughs. But if I cast it on myself, boy, I can nuke the whole town. It's like, I'm personally affected by the fact that why would you add not only another magic school, but just such a fucking massive magic school, and one with such crazy effects. Before you fix like Magic Reflect resetting over fucking nodes, Akbon resetting over nodes, the Crim timer resetting over nodes, and not telling you you don't have Crim on and walking into a town as you're bowed down by the guards. Like, yes, there's so many. Well, I mean, it's happened to enough people on stream, and I would hope they're aware of it. But like,
they've been aware.
They didn't know about Blood Kua healing on effect, and it's like literally the only reason it was ever valuable. And they didn't know about mental healing giving you mana back, and like that was like surprises to Henrik, and he's like supposed to be the designer of the game.
I mean,
so
ask where to find the heavy armor book. Let's not look at Henrik as an expert on his own game because he never has been.
Like they don't know these things, like, and they don't have a good report. Like,
their
GMs
project
never like pass shit on to the devs, or maybe the devs just overloaded. I don't know.
No, their product backlog is all wackadoodle. Like,
it's all spaghetti code. It's all fun. We should expect better. Like as a community, we should expect better.
Well, not just this game though, but with every game. Like somebody, because it's like the precedent has been set. And again, I go back to DayZ as the game that kind of set that precedent because of the way that they launched the game and how much money they made. Like the precedent was set, and now it's a norm. And it's going to be very difficult for the paradigm to shift back to what it should be, because there's a lot of people out there that they don't care. They're going to pre-order the game to get their super fancy skin, and they've got the money to do it. It doesn't matter if the game doesn't work or not. Like which is unfortunate, especially for an industry like gaming. But the precedent was set, and we live in the world we live in now with the games that we have now, and we just have to, we either need to deal with it, or there needs to be like a mass movement, which will likely never happen because a lot of gamers are just salty sweats. Like it's never gonna, I don't think it'll ever change back to the way it was. Like those were the golden days, if you will, you know, like getting finished products. That was the golden age of video games. Whereas now it's turned into the industry that it is now, where you get half-baked products and you get games where they do crowdsourced funding, and then they, like Camelot Unchained is an example. They do crowdsourced funding, and then they never even produce a product because people are like, oh shit, that's a cool concept. Let's invest in it. We're going to have a product in a few years, you know? And that goes down to like the sales aspect of it. Like people are very good at selling products, and the average human is not very good at picking up on when they're working with the salesman. Like if you've worked in sales, you know what I'm talking about. Like you understand the theory of sales and how to push a product on somebody even if they can't afford it. Like there's a lot of ethical and like moral issues with sales in every industry, but I digress. Yeah, we live in the world we live in because of what we're willing to accept and the faith that we have in companies that are developing games.
Hello?
So,
Can you guys hear me?
what up, Hudson?
Yo, what up? So what's the actual topic here? I'm kind of getting confused.
Oh, we're just
We've been talking
rambling.
about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're
I gotta
just kind
go.
of rambling. Have a good one, Jeff. Have a good one, Jeff. Have a great weekend, dude.
Oh damn, I talk it just like all right. So like, all right, what do you guys want to talk about now? What's up?
I'd like to. So
I'm out. That's his dumb.
well, Rivers, you've been awful quiet. What's going on over there? I mean, I've been hitting the bong a couple times, and I'm still chit. This motherfucker ain't he AFK? Rivers ain't even here.
I'm here.
Don't buy this
I've
motherfucker
been listening.
still in Fab that he's selling 1,000 for 500 gold. Alert!
It
Alert!
expired.
Buyer
It
beware!
expired.
Buyer beware!
Okay.
Buyer beware!
From what I've gathered from listening for a little bit here is I agree with a lot of these points. I think they could do a lot better. I think we should hold them more accountable. And anybody who saw the stream a couple days ago, we were literally talking to Henrik about this, and I literally told him, like, it doesn't matter if you're King Turd of Shit Mountain. You might be the best out of any MMO in this category or this or that, but the game overall is shit. I agree with a lot of you guys and your points, but instead of resorting to bagging and spreading bullshit, like, why don't we try to help them? And I think we all have something in common. We're passionate about what this game not is, but could be. And I think that's...
Rivers, here's the thing, right?
Sure.
You're saying something that people have been doing for 10 years, and nothing has changed, man.
Okay, and I haven't been here this whole time. You know,
that's human nature, though.
Okay, and that's important. I want people.
You are doing the same thing that's been tried and tried and tried again for years.
And people change, and sometimes it takes years, doesn't it?
Everyone wakes up, or they keep coping, and that's all it's going to be, because nothing is going to change. I would bet my life right now that not a single fucking thing will change in 6 months. Not a single thing. And that's why I'm happy to have walked away from this dog shit.
Hey, Doom Rider. Actually, in direct response to what you just said, John Tree wanted me to tell you that you're fat.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sorry, he literally told me that. I could not say
As a
it.
fat person, I know how bad that hurts.
I don't give a shit, man. If I cared about being fat, I would get skinny. Being fat is bad.
I guess that's true. Yeah, sorry about that. Derailed the whole fucking thing.
No. I'd like to bring up something again too, Putson. I'm aware I think you were similar to Shadow, where I was new to the game. I don't know really much about you or who you are, but I do know that you were a streamer, podcaster, and you were also a bagger.
Yes, I am a bagger. I was a sinner in my past life.
And so do you justify it the same as Doom? Like, do you consider that we played the same game or you're a cheater.
Yeah.
How can you argue some things about, like, there being, like he was arguing, there's no risk in the game? Well, yeah, there's no risk when you have a bag. Do you not agree with me on that?
Well, there's still risk. There's obviously a lot less of risk. Well, you lose your equipment. You have to get to the place of, you're not like sitting in town duping an item. You have to actually go to the location still.
Anything technically not, because once you get a certain bankroll, you can just be like, okay, where can I get this item for really cheap and sell it really high? And then you just can do that. You can literally just start off a single bankroll and then just keep multiplying until you're like infinitely
Well, yeah,
rich.
sure. If you want to run around the map,
well, I'm
like,
sure some of you did.
Worse.
I'm sure, yeah, it takes one night of running around the map, and you could be over a millionaire, I'd imagine, once you pick the right items.
I'm
not saying there was no risk. I listen. There was like a very small amount of risk, and it's usually just your time.
It's a zero amount of risk because everything is just anything you're wearing is not worth what you can transport for free.
I guess if that's how you want to look at it.
I mean, it is. Okay.
I'm not defending bagging. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Well, then my question is, then why in this position, why did both of you, instead of like trying to stand up and argue with Henrik because he's heard that everybody says streamers just kissed his ass, why didn't you stand up to him, point these things out instead of resorting to cheating and hiding it from the community?
Go back, Rivers, no, hold on. We're gonna talk real fucking quick because I pointed this shit out in a message with Clean, with Lord, when all the big streamers joined. I was in there in a text chat with them, and I laid this all out for Henrik, and his response was, "Yeah, you're all just toxic kitties. You're wrong." That was the response that I got from him.
How are you coming across to him like this?
What was your tone?
I will get you the logs and send them to you.
Please do. I'd love to see.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing those too. I might not show those on stream just because don't be showing no goddamn communications or something, bitch.
No. So I got a Putson as well as Doom, I guess. I think Doom, you may have already answered this earlier, but Putson, why did you choose? I mean, you're very passionate about this game. Like I know you are. You ran a podcast for the game. You stream the game. Like you communicated in a fairly positive way. But why did you end up electing?
The two main reasons I bag is because I'm lazy and I'm a moron. That's
okay. No, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, I mean,
agreed.
I appreciate your honesty.
Okay, when it comes to like time saving, I will take I'm lazy and respect that more than because of my time, because it's an MMO. Like MMOs are based on like investing ridiculously fucking large amounts of your time and life into.
It really
so
is.
to me, that's not an excuse. But like honestly, man, fuck it, I'm lazy. I can at least respect the honesty from that.
Agreed. You guys know me. I'm a purist. I don't even cancel cast.
I can attest he does not cancel cast. I gave that motherfucker some black opals, some turtles. You better believe he didn't catch a goddamn turtle on not one of them.
So But like I don't ever condone like cheating or exploiting or anything like that. Like it's a terrible thing and it ruins games. Like it really does destroy games. It destroys the economy in game. That's why a lot of games like World of Warcraft invest quite literally millions of dollars in preventing it and getting that out of the game. But it costs millions and millions of dollars because you have development companies out there that are literally just developing new cheats when the old ones get patched. So it's like this constant battle that's incredibly expensive.
I got people claiming I'm like dodging the evidence. Where do I send this evidence to?
If you want to send it to Rivers, you can.
I'd like to see it, yeah, personally.
If you want to send it to anybody else in this voice chat, feel welcome. Right. You're more than welcome to. If somebody has it, I might take a look at it.
Then, because it's a long talk.
Hey, take your time. Take your time.
In response to Rivers, because he was actually asking me, but like if you go look at any of my podcasts, I was like 90% of the podcast just roasting Starvault about like different mechanics that came out in the recent patch, or like how they need to wipe the game after they fix like the exploits and hacks and stuff. I've always had the same stance. Like I never thought they should have released keeps before TC. You know what I mean?
I
like,
agree with that 100%.
So like I've always had like the same stance. Like you go back any of the podcasts, it was like 20 something podcasts, like especially into the later ones, I was just like a very salty gamer. Even when I was playing more, like I was just like roasting them, and I was trying hard not to roast them because like I wanted like Henrik to come on and like talk, and I had Robbo on a couple times, and I didn't want to like go full send with it because like I still wanted them to like think of the podcast as like a good thing, not just like
dude, that's very professional, man. But, like I got mad respect for that, dude. Like it's like you clearly are very passionate about this game, and everybody in here chatting right now, and everybody that is watching Greg's channel right now, all 225 of them are very passionate about this game. Like there's something about this game. I always use the comparison of Escape from Tarkov. Like it triggers emotions and feelings, and there's a level of risk reward with games like this that are just it's insane. Like I feel emotions that other games don't trigger when I play Escape from Tarkov and when I play Mortal Online 2. And like I don't even PvP. I just fucking fish. But when you discover something new, that dopamine hit and that emotion, you can't find that in anything else. Like I don't know of a game where I can get that. Like MMO, fishing simulator, whatever it might be. Like we live in an age of min-maxing where people are like the new expansion for World of Warcraft. There were freaking builds for that expansion before it was ever released because people were data mining it and making tutorials on it. Like one of the unique things about this game is the mystery of it and the beauty of the environment and the world. Like just wandering. I didn't even ride a horse the first month I played this game because I would just go run around on foot, being in awe of everything that I was seeing. And that was before they even had weather. So like the game, it really is beautiful and people are very passionate about it. But we get real salty. People get real angry and really salty over a video game. Like this is a video game. This is a hobby for us. So we need to hold game developers accountable, but at the same time, we can't do so in a negative emotional way via anger or rage or resentment. Like Putson, you touched on it. Like as you progressed, you became much more upset and much more salty, and it was very difficult for you to regulate and to maintain your professionalism. But because this is a hobby for us, we snap. We just snap. There's no balance to it, and I see that a lot, and it's unfortunate that happens with people, and that we can't unite to actually hold game developers accountable because we're too busy bickering on Reddit or on Twitch or Discord, fucking yelling at each other about things that we have no real control over, So anyway, off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
I would like to hear from everybody real quick, and maybe like if you guys think the game is savable, and like how do we save it type thing. Like if there was like a big
for me personally, if they're not gonna wipe it, I think the quickest and easiest thing to do to save it that would like give people at least some sort of fresh interest in the game would be Sarduka. You know, like something like that would be.
Have
which I mean,
let's
be fucking honest. I don't see that happening. Years, I would say minimum 2 years, if that's even in their roadmap after the roadmap after that roadmap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a big ask, like a whole new continent. So like, I other than that, man, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
So I've got some thoughts on this. Like, obviously the scope of this game is immense. It's unlike anything that has ever been taken on by a game developer. It's crazy. The fact that I mean, Star Citizen, I think in terms of like the one world, one server thing is comparable, but the technology is just not there. Like, the game could be saved if there is enough of a core player base to keep the company afloat, and if they continue to have stakeholders that believe in the longevity of the project, that it's going to still be around in 20 years from now, that could that could help it, because the technology, it will eventually catch up. Another thing is that they need to dedicate resources to really looking into some of these problems. Like, Doom has mentioned it several times, that he's gone to Henrik and sent messages, and I've seen several other people that have said that they've contacted Henrik and been like, yo bro, your game's broken, here's an exploit, and then he kind of just pushes it to the side. They need to hire professionals that is their sole purpose, is looking into that, which that goes to having a public test server.
And it's not
dude, stop bringing Robmo into it. He's a community manager, man. His sole purpose is to put communications out there.
He's a QA lead. Robmo is a QA lead.
So he's
what does that mean?
So quality assurance.
Testing.
QA means quality assurance.
I thought they had QA was like third party. I thought that was like one of their whole things. Was like that. We don't have public testing of our third party.
The test team is third party. Doesn't mean that.
I guess you could technically say that those. Some could argue those are the one and the same. Some could argue they're very separate things. Sorry, I agree with that.
And
because the QA even being sent out hasn't changed anything, so it's been pretty clear that it's never been the.
Well,
QA
I don't think the testing being sent out is doing a damn favor for them either. You know, like
they need. It needs to be a bigger team. They need more professionals behind it, especially with a game like this where there's so many variables and so many systems in play. Like, it's so incredibly complex that, like, I can't wrap my brain around it. There's probably very few people that really truly can wrap their brain around it, because again, the scope of the game is so incredibly immense. Like, just fishing, man. The fishing in this fucking game is better than like 90% of fishing simulators that are out. Like, it's insane how much thought they put into creating a fucking afterthought fishing system. You know, it's bonkers to me. But that's I think they really need to invest in that, and then I think time. Like I was saying, if they have a sustained player base that's willing to pay the subscription while they continue to work on it, and the team can in fact grow, and they can get more than one person that is a coder, like that can help tremendously. And then just the communication and the publicity and the marketing side of it, whether it be passive marketing, like Henrik should be more transparent, and he shouldn't tell the white lies that he tells. Like, he's got this grandiose vision of what he wants, which is amazing, but that's not realistic. And that's the sales part of it. Like, he is selling the game in his streams, which is understandable. It's a business, you know. It's that's just how it is. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. It'll be a struggle, man. It's gonna take another 10 years. Like, it's gonna take a long time if they are going to get to a sustainable point for existence and the game being successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that would really help them, and I've seen a lot of people bring it up in the MO2 official Discord, is public test realm. So something they could do, I think WoW did it pretty well, is only people who have previously purchased the game have access to the test realm. It's like a different installation, you know, it's like its own game, but you get it with it. So this way, you're not having people play Mortal for free, but at the same time, you have your player base able to log on to this test realm that has like the next patch, you know, preloaded onto this, like, so you can test everything.
Yeah.
And it's not giving a private test team an advantage, because anyone who has the time or is willing to put in the time to test whatever features they're about to pump out can log on. So it's completely fair across the board. You know, just people who have more time are going to have a slight edge, but still, it doesn't matter. You're there to ensure that these game-breaking bugs that shut down a game for an entire weekend don't make it to live server.
Yeah.
And if they did that, I think it would solve a lot of their fucking issues.
No, I agree. And I think once there is a larger sustained player base, that would be more realistic. Whereas if they implemented a PTS right now, or a public test server, all the players would just be playing on PTS. Like it would split the player base tremendously, and there would be a lot of people, because there's people that are just purely dedicated to playing on public test servers or public test realms. They like troubleshooting, they like quality assurance, they like finding bugs, because again, it goes back to that mystery. Like they're the first person to figure something out. But the issue with a PTS for a game of this size is that the player base is so small that it would divide the player base. So it would be hard to do. But I agree, Hudson.
Public testing realm is never going to happen. Here's why: for basically one big reason, they don't want people to know what's wrong with the game.
Dude, you speak so matter of factly. It's incredible.
I'm going to tell you.
It is mind blowing.
My point or not? Can I finish my point or not? I'm going to tell you why. Okay.
It's spicy.
This came directly from a test member during the alpha test, that many of the things that are still currently broken with the game today were given to the team at the time. And they did not fix them, or they chose not to fix them. So a PTR will not change anything, except it will make glaringly obvious the incompetency of the development team to actually fix the issues that they have. And they don't want that. Henrik knows it's bad publicity. He knows.
Well, to be fair, that's better than shutting down your entire game for an entire week.
Yeah.
I think it's just never going to happen. I'm telling you, you're living in a delusional world if you think that they're ever going to give you a PTR, because they're not.
Yeah,
I think
I don't see them giving a PTR either. I really don't.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a
I
haven.
didn't say they're gonna do it. I said it's a good suggestion.
Well, no, I mean if it was like a haven, if it was on the,
in reality for once, like
if it was on the scale of a haven, I would think it would maybe be possible. You know what I'm saying? Like a small instance that they could have like certain, you know, elementalism active for this, that, or the other. Make it ridiculously easy to level up, find the shit you need to find, just so you can start trying to break things. If they did that. Maybe, you know, a couple instances here or there, yeah, I think people would do it. But hell no, they can't have no whole full-size test server. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, no
people
way.
are just going to play on that. They would never play the actual game.
Yeah, the test
reason for it being bad.
They would never get bored of it. Like that's part of it. But there's not enough players to sustain it. Like Greg, I totally agree, man. If they had something that's very isolated and like force players to test something out and then they get bored of it after 30 hours and go back to the normal server. But if there is just a full second Mirrorland that's PTS where they have just future content and everything in place, people are going to invest thousands of hours.
And what is the problem with that?
I would divide the player base. It would right now because there's only
the player base is going to abandon everything they have. The people that complain about wiping, like they lose their minds at the fact that they can lose everything, are just magically going to only play on this PTR. Come on, man. Dude, that's so intellectually dishonest. It's crazy.
Oh man! All right, bro.
Bro, just call him fat, dude. Just say it to his face.
No, I'm not. No, that's rude. That's rude. No.
Look, I'm gonna be blunt with you. You can blow me. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna tell you how I see it.
I clearly, you're very matter of fact.
You need to speak up there, bud. Quit being so quiet and falling in a shell. You have good questions.
Yeah, Rivers, you
have a fresh opinion as well.
We were taking turns on. What was the question again? Like what?
If you get something in there, something sparks you.
I mean, there's just so many people. I'm not trying to talk over anybody. I want it to be cohesive and listenable.
That's very true. But you have insight that a lot of people don't in here. You're one of the newer. You like me and you are probably. Well, I'm pretty sure we exponentially are the newest players in here, so like our opinions are what we see, how we play the game, our experiences are all different. So I mean, if you get in there, you son of a bitch, you motherfucker.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Rivers, on Putson's question?
What was it again? Like, could this game be great or something like that?
Well, like what could the future hold to for the game to actually stabilize and for the game to actually succeed and survive?
You're butchering my question. You're butchering. I just
say it again.
It was like a two-parter. Could this game? Do you think this game can be saved? And how do you think they should go about doing it? Like, what's like one big idea or something, or one big thing you think could help save it?
I mean, we were talking about this with him like 2 days ago, and I was kind of getting on his ass about this. I do think this game can be saved. I think he needs to listen to us, and I mean, go ahead and laugh all you want, but I think...
No, I'm laughing at he laughs. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He does need to listen to us. Not always. We're like children, obviously. Sometimes we do need something that we want, and sometimes we need something that we don't want. And it's a hard thing to like ask for someone's opinion on what they want and kind of cherry pick what actually is important to the game. And a lot like the systems that he brags about being so modular in the game, I think that the game needs to be modular itself in its current form. There is no gameplay circle. It's missing a lot of things that the people that, like, if you're gonna have your server on 24/7, except right now, Kappa, then you need to have a quality of life, a standard of living for those players, and that's what will make the game thrive. Yeah.
They could do it with one phone call.
Hi, guys.
To Richard Garrick, the man who made Ultima Online, which is this entire basis of this game, where it came from, the 10 or so years that they had in figuring out in World 1. They just called that man to get the same mechanics that were there in 97. They could get them implemented.
That's Sullivan. You know, they actually did that already with packet injection.
What do you mean?
They have the same fucking issue that Ultima Online had in 97 with packet injection, man. You can literally send packs. How do you think people... Okay, I'm going to explain to you. How do you think people got all of the Spiritist books? So much of them. How do you think? Let me hear what you think.
Is that Shadow?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
What up, Jack?
Why do you think... How do you think people got all these Spiritist books?
Off the dungeon, of course. You know,
nope.
Legitimately,
nope.
That's how it was done.
Nope. They packet injected a packet saying, "Sell me this book," and then gave the trader whatever they wanted, and they printed out thousands of them, thousands, and nothing was ever done about it. Nothing. They're all still very much in circulation. In fact, most of them have been used, obviously.
Yeah, that's gonna happen with any online game, dude.
It's not. No, what fucking world are you living in that you think packet injection still works in modern day MMOs, dude? Come on. What the fuck are you talking about? You genuinely think you could packet inject in WoW? Do you think that's possible? Like,
oh my god.
What world are you living in, man?
Yeah, I do think that in the past there were issues with that.
You can start,
in WoW and every other MMO.
You can start pickaxing a rock and then pack and inject to the server to level your necromancy to 100. Good fuck you, Greg. All your 8 days leveling, yeah, you can do that in 2 minutes. You guys don't even understand the depth of how bad this is.
Are you a developer? Like, what's your educational background, Tim? Out of curiosity.
I'm an IT professional. Have been for.
What is information technology is incredible? Are you hardware? Are you software? Do you know how to code? Do you know C++? Do you know Python? Like, talk to me. You're hardware, so you know nothing about how software development works. So don't try to claim that you do.
Are you trying to tell me that packet injection?
Oh my god!
Yeah, you should kick that guy, dude.
What games packet injection still exist in
any game that has an online connection?
You think packet?
There's potential for it.
You think it still works in those games? You think those games have server side?
I'm not gonna continue on.
I've never seen Squirrely mad. Holy shit!
Yeah, but we're also talking about how to save the game with things that should be available, not everything that's wrong with it. We know that everything's
You're not saving the game is my fucking point. You people are still missing it. You guys are living in this delusional fucking cope world that you're gonna magically save this game somehow. It's out of my fucking mind to keep hearing this over and over. The same fucking copes over and over. Well, if we did this, then the game would be good. It's so fucking crazy, man. It's literally the definition of insanity.
Oh my god, I love you, Doom.
No, it's not the definition of insanity. You should look it up, buddy. You should look up insanity and what it actually means. It's a psychological disorder.
Yeah, I might go to the beach today or something.
Hell yeah, brother, dude! I'm gonna go watch disc golf this week, and there's a tournament in town.
Well, we know you're not going to the beach and jungle in MO2.
But I'm
IRL.
No, I'll probably just get stoned and eat and cry a little bit. That's about
Jack's not gonna pet grass. He's gonna pet sand.
Dude, I just woke up today. I'm gonna have to go outside. What the fuck?
Dude, you know what's fucked? He could go and like. Oh, never mind. That was a dumbass thing I was about to say. Never mind. Just skip. All right. So what's the next topic? What are we talking about?
I don't know, man. What are some
entire fucking weekend just fucking take off? Like, oh, you guys are fucked, bro. We're gonna figure it out on Monday. Like, what slap in the face is that, dude?
Yeah, I will say for streamers on the level of like Bardos, Jack, etc. that genuinely are like full time doing this. Like that's because like even me last night, I turned the stream on last night. I spent fucking 45 minutes. I couldn't even sign into the game. Failure to create file 32. I reinstalled the game.
I can't get in.
I got back. I finally get in. I ghost over to Meduli. The fucking NPCs and the priests are gone. I'm trapped in ghost mode. I can't fucking do anything. So I just turned the shit off, delete it. I've not been able to even get in the game since. So it's like, I can't imagine for people who that's like, they're literally like, those are days off
their
work.
Livelihood.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like,
yeah, I can't get past the main menu. It's fucking dog shit.
I mean, fortunately for
like, what the fuck?
Fortunately for Jack as well as Barados, like they both have pretty good followings. I mean, they're obviously partnered. They are going to definitely lose out some ad revenue, which totally blows. Like, I feel really bad for folks like Jack or Barados that are full-time streamers, and this is their livelihood. And then I feel really bad for people that work the 9 to 5, like you, Greg. Like, you work the 9 to 5. Like, you look forward to coming home and playing this game because it's a hobby. It's a passionate hobby you have, and you're not going to be able to spend your
Friday
weekend.
Than Monday. That's fucking
like that, which leads me to a question: What are some good alternative games? Like, Jack, I've seen you play The Isle. I've seen you play DayZ. They all look really cool. I've seen you play a number of games. I've seen Barados play that boxing game. Like, what are some good alternative games that the community could check out or that they could play? What are your thoughts on that, you guys?
I don't promote it because I got a fucking guild to run, dude. Like, if I fucking start promoting other games, they're all going to go to another game. It's one thing if we all it's one thing if we all do that, but like, this is the closest thing I've found to Ultima forever. Like, fucking, I love that shit. So I'm going to continue to play it because unless something has a similar base system and actually has red murderers, that would be nice. Bringing that whole thing back, but that was too hard on the murderers.
I'm curious, what do you mean by, like, what is the base system that you want to see in these games?
I mean, honestly, once boats come out, I'm out. I'm just gonna pirate.
What is the base system that you want to see in the games?
Hell yeah, brother! Let's do chores together.
Wait,
man.
are you asking what mechanics he's looking for? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, I'm saying, what is it about this game that you're saying that you literally can't go anywhere else for?
For me, it's just mainly like I said before, the one world server is a really big fucking draw for me. Like, the fact that like, for me, the main reason I feel bad about murdering people, and like some people might say this is psychotic what I'm about to say, but like, you kill somebody in real life, they're fucking gone. You bury them and you make it what you make it. You can go on about your life or you can dwell about it. You kill somebody in this game every fucking time you go to this city. you're faced with this person and your actions. You know, it's like,
Wait, you say that like you've killed somebody in real life?
let's keep
before, what the
talking.
fuck?
Let's keep talking. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's like there's just certain, like Swirly said earlier, there are games like Tarkov, like old school Call of Duty, fucking the first Modern Warfare. Like there are games like this, Mortal's one of them, that give me feelings, whether them be fucking weird, bad. Like I've fucked somebody over in this game and felt like shit for like 3 hours. Like went to sleep, laid in bed for 30 minutes, being like, God damn it, I shouldn't have done that. Woke up, motherfucker, I still feel bad. Like go to work and feel bad about some shit I did in this game. So like, that's one of the main draws for me is like just, you know, and the player interaction. Yeah, the player interaction, the social interaction. Like,
but what about
massive.
a world server makes that better?
I love
more people from all over, and like it's a continual player interaction. You build relationships. Like when you get on DayZ, when you get on a day one server, you might find a group of people that are lucky enough to get in that same server, and you might build a little bit of a repertoire with people, some RP. Like, you know, me and Toulouse from time to time will have a little back and forth for some fun. But like they might end up on Namask 2 when you're on Namask 1. Namask 5 when you're on fucking Esker 1. Like the one world just makes like the reputation, your relationships, every interaction so much more important, because I can get on a DayZ server, plant a fucking landmine at a well, watch that dude blow up, go over, shoot him in the fucking head, and I'll never see or talk to that dude again in my life.
Hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. That's not a world server thing though. That's a population size thing.
Wait. Let
Putin talk.
Yeah, because it's actually, I was going to respond to Greg, and now Doom kind of touched on what I was going to say. You say like it just brings the population that much more together. But imagine how many people don't fucking play this game because they don't have a server in their region, and like the ping is such a heavy factor in like melee combat. Imagine how many people who came to the game are like, oh, I love it. Oh, it's only EU based. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Imagine how much top has gone away.
So I'm in the boat with Greg. I mean, obviously, I just chill and fish and hang out. I love meeting people. I've met people from 20 different countries playing this game. Like, if this game was regionalized, I wouldn't even be able to play with Greg because he lives in Florida. He's East Coast, I'm West Coast. I would never be able to play with J45K because he's in Australia. Like, I would have never had the opportunity to create the relationships that I have and meet some of the incredible people that I have met in this game. And that's my argument for the one server thing. But I totally agree in terms of the ping thing. Like, if you do enjoy PvP and you do enjoy fighting, the one server thing, until the technology catches up, it's not a good time, especially like if you're in Australia or if you're West Coast United States. Like, even with exit lag, you're kind of screwed. You know, you have one play style. So I totally agree with that. But for me, like, I love the one server thing because it allows us to meet people from all over the world that we would have never otherwise had the opportunity to meet.
I mean, that's
it's a very interesting phenomenon.
But the one server, I'm just gonna say it, is it's a giant cope. I mean, like, it's the one of the biggest reasons that this game is never gonna be popular is the one server thing.
Potentially.
Fundamental divine flaws.
Wait, what?
Because netcode doesn't work. It doesn't exist. The netcode does not exist to support a game with this many players on one server. It does not exist.
Netcode is an issue for damn near every game that has any sort of like multiplayer, like large player base, interactive, like netcoding. Like, name a game that has like perfect. Oh man, like a fucking...
So the thing is, the reason that doesn't work specifically for this game is because I know we complain. A lot of people complain that the combat's actually like dumbed down, but the complexity of the computations in this combat are what make it impossible to do on a large scale. And that's the reason why, for the longest time, like when you saw those big fights, you wouldn't see people attacking because the netcode literally couldn't be communicated properly to the server because there was too much of it. And Farmer even talked about how there was
the technology's not there.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. It's not there yet. But that's something Star Citizen's trying to do. It's something that Eve has actually successfully done because Eve is one massive global server. Like they're There are
Why
games
you
trying to do it.
not taking this to ground with the fucking devs? Because like either you guys have just given up, or you just want to accept that it's like, okay, we.
It's because we have optimism that the technology will catch up. It's the same reason people have invested thousands of dollars into Star Citizen 10 years ago, hoping that the technology would get there and that they would realize their vision and what they want to do. But there's a tremendous amount of risk.
What?
Technology evolves, man. Technology evolves.
They're not going to hire any people, dude. One of the GMs died, and they still didn't hire another fucking person.
I don't know why you keep saying like, oh, it's going to come with time, because it's shown over time with the history of this company that it will never come. Like there has been a game before this, right? Like listen to this. Went on for 10 years, and what did it happen there? Like, come on, man.
They've updated the graphics. Like that's a huge technology advancement. It's just the going from Unreal. What were they on, 3 or 2? Going from 2 to 4, and now up to 5. Like those are advancements in technology. And if you have faith that they will eventually get there, that's excellent. A lot of people don't have faith. People want instant gratification. People feel entitled.
Gratification, 10 years. You told me that's
okay. Wait,
10 years.
Dude, people have been waiting on Star Citizen for 10 years, bro.
I love how passionate Doom is. Oh my god.
Yeah, man, he gets real worked up though, man.
Wait. Dishonest fucking comments, man.
Hold on.
Takes me off.
Wait, Doom. I want to know, what do you want to see from MO2? I'm just curious.
Okay, I'm being perfectly honest. I've been saying this all the time. I don't expect to see anything. What I expected to see, I know was never going to happen.
Wait. I'm not. I didn't ask you.
That wasn't his question.
That wasn't my question. I didn't ask you what do you expect to see. I said what do you want to see.
What I want to see. I mean, the only way this game works, that I would see it, would be they would have to actually address the massive exploits, the dupes, the hacks that are still very prevalent and very widely used in the game. On top of that, they would need to wipe the game and cut the map size in half, right? Oh, hold on, let me get to this. And then you put in regional servers. And what do you do after that? Well, if you get a growth in player base, if people actually give it a chance now, because most of the fundamental design flaws have been removed from the game, then you could how do we expand the maps? Oh, we add another continent. Oh my god. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, these are so fucking simple things to think about, but Henrik deliberately chooses that it's not possible, either because 1, he doesn't want to, or 2, they probably don't even have the money to do it. And the thing is, if they don't have the money to do it, then nothing's ever gonna get better.
Is there a wipe in there too? You didn't mention a wipe.
Yes,
I'm assuming.
Wipe.
Okay.
I said wipe.
Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't hear.
Even I agree on a wipe at this point. 100%.
I mean,
anyone who disagrees with a wipe at this point, with the amount of bullshit that's happening in this game, is either delusional or an RMT himself who doesn't want to lose their RMT goods. That's it.
Again, listen, somebody who just fucking grinded Necro to 92. I mean, like let's fucking let's not roll a bad just yet. Let me fucking at least cast all surge on one fucking person, okay? But like I honestly on that point, I can see from both sides. At this point, I would prefer one. Of course, I would like one. But at this point, honestly, man, I don't give a fuck. Just get the game working right. Just get some of the shit optimized. Like just stop.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Like actually polish the game before you say delivered on the fucking roadmap is my main thing. Like Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh yeah, the whole polish fucking roadmap thing.
But it's just so like again with Necro, like there's like 2 Necro spells that the casting walkers and shit work, but like every other fucking spell is broken. There's still ecumenical spells that are broken. You know, like magic reflect, for example. That, like as somebody who's a human, I cast a fucking magic reflect, a Ogbon on me, a Ogbon on my horse. That is 70% of my fucking mana. I'm in heavy armor. I cross the node line 30 seconds after I cast all that. Well, I just wasted 6 fucking spirits. They just jacked all the fucking reagents through the room. You know, like fix things like that before we start adding weather manipulation and shit. You know, like I think that is a big problem this game has, is they get a little too ahead of themselves and they start tripping on their own shoelaces. They don't take the time to like fully tie that shit before they start trying to walk away.
They're never fixing any of that shit.
I feel like not wiping the game, it literally just harms like new players more than any other type of player.
Helps. I don't see how not wiping helps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right. But like, if you like, keep the game going and not wiping after so many exploits and dupes and hacks and stuff, like it's like you're only hurting yourself as a company. I feel like I don't see it.
Yeah, but Henrik and the other devs have farmed like too much Chronite and Ogmium. They don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? Like,
true. They don't know how to spawn it in. They don't know how to spawn
anyone that doesn't want a wipe doesn't understand life in general. It's not about the final destination. It's about the journey.
100%.
Let's have the journey again. Let's have the journey again, boys.
Dude, these fucking brainlets in chat. He exploited. The fuck is he on about? Well, then I know more than you do. Obviously. Like, oh my god. Like, I can be an exploiter and say exploiting is bad for the game. Like, I don't think you. Like...
I 100% believe it's bad for the game. You should all be bad for it. I don't care. What do you want me to say? Like, fucking Christ, people.
Fucking morons.
You're too stupid. You couldn't figure out what the experts were. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with a lot of you here. I don't think we need to wipe because.
Get him, Jim. Get him. He said it.
All right. I said it. Yeah.
Go ahead and explain why.
What do we do?
We'll hear you out.
Okay, please. And I'm a new player. You got to remember, I haven't been here for 10, 15 years. I will say this. We were riding around on the road in a car, and we crashed, and we were in the ravine. And evidently, some of you were in a car from 10 years ago, and you're still in this fucking ravine. Well, I want to get out of here.
What?
Why don't we, fix the car and drive out of this bitch? The game is a car crash. I get that. But wiping it's not going to fix it. Cutting the map's not going to fix it. These are all expensive things that we talk about, all these major manpower things of doing things.
Okay, yeah, that's to my point though. Can I elaborate a little bit?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so you're right. Yeah, it's an expensive thing to do to go say, oh, we're gonna wipe the game, we're gonna cut all this down, do all that. But my point is that from the start, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying none of this even matters until the exploits and the major unexploited hacks that have not been punished in any way are fixed. You're not going to punish these people at this point because they don't know how. That is my reasoning for it, because you don't know how to punish these people and you can't track what they've done, right? That's already been gone. There's no way to come back from that. Now you need to go, okay, I need to seal up these fucking holes, and then once that's done, then we can go, okay, now we do a wipe and now we do it. But you're right, it's a massive amount of time and money, and I don't think Henrik either has the will or the money or whatever to do what is needed to make the game good.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know if money is the issue, if they can keep on Epic's good side. If they can show any sort of bump when it comes to Epic release, I don't necessarily think money would actually be an issue. It might be scaling their operation up to meet Epic's hey, if we do this, we do that, we can possibly reach these numbers. The scaling might become an issue in the future, but if they keep on the good side of Epic and don't lose that backing, I don't see why money would be an issue, especially if half the rumors you hear about Hendrik and his daddy and all this shit, I don't see money being an issue, especially if they release subs, that's their whole thing with subs. If you got the subsystem's going to help support the game, help all these benefits, etc., improvements. So I don't know if money will, and don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, unless there's some massive changes, I ain't paying no fucking sub, period. So it's will they lose some player base? Sure. But I still don't necessarily seeing money being the issue. I see losing the fucking player base being more of an issue than money at any point in time.
They'll lose it for sure, because they'll have some shit like this go down where people are paying for it and they go to log in and their stronghold is gone because it's been doubled up by 2, 3, 4 priests every restart, things like that. You log in and your shit's gone and they say, oh, we're not going to replace it, and you're paying monthly for that. That's an instant loss for them. Yeah. It's going to happen because I think anyone who has a stronghold notices, hey, sometimes my priest is gone, sometimes my equerry is gone, sometimes
I don't think they're bringing subs anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be with Epic release. I mean, he stated that multiple times.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming anytime soon.
That's still really far off.
I would say 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, it's after TC, right?
That's being very...
that's generous.
They want this shit out, dude.
I'm saying Christmas.
I'm saying I don't want fucking subs 2028, please. But I'm just thinking the faster they can get to that bankroll, the faster they can get Epic off their fucking back. And kind of just I really, really think they want to, even if it's, especially now that they've established we can just turn the game off. oh, TC's fucked. Well, there we go. Have a good weekend, everybody. Like, since that's established, fuck it.
And they'll do it. They will do it. 100%.
Well, they have no choice now. They have no choice now. If there is a massive exploit or issue with TC, are you going to tell me they like, bro, if people are like wiping keeps off the map or some shit, they have no other choice now than to just turn the shit off. We're going to take it down for an hour and turn it back up. Wait. 2 more keeps are disappeared. Well, shit. You know, like.
Do you guys understand why they?
Sullivan, did you play MO1
the weekend?
A lot, or did anybody in here play a lot of MO1? Like, was there ever a time during the sub, like where there was a sub implemented for MO1? Was there ever a time where they had something like this? There was.
There's still a sub on MO1. If you wanted to play MO1 right now, you can play it because it's a free-to-play base model, but none of your skills go over 60 because you have to
yeah.
And you had 4 character slots, just saying.
But they did
play a lot of MO1 because I had a really bad computer at the time, so my only experience in it was I would hear hoof prints and I would die.
Yeah, I just died a lot when I played.
Oh, you know how everyone got banned from bagging and everything like that? Well,
no idea.
I've seen probably at least 10 or 11 people. Yeah, on different accounts playing.
100%.
Oh yeah,
Just
absolutely.
of saying he still does it without saying it. It's okay.
That's I mean, look at EFT, man. Any game where people cheat and get banned, unless it's a hardware ban, unless they get a hardware ban, which even that in some cases you can dodge. Like, people are just gonna buy the game again and just reset. You know, they don't fucking care. They got the money for it.
Yeah,
so it's
all of their. That's fine, right? Like, oh look, you think they're getting wiped? Like, do you think they're deleting everything they had?
Oh yeah, Greg, that happened. That's a real thing.
So there was a point in time, and Rivers, this is news to me. I don't know if you saw this. There was a point in time in the first game, Mortal Online 1, where literally a GM's account was compromised and used to delete. I don't know if it was all the keeps or multiple keeps.
A lot of the keeps. I don't know if it was every single one, but a lot of them.
So I had no clue that happened.
I saw it.
No, I heard. Yeah, I think it did in MO1. I think
they had their whole database.
Fucking Rivers AFK over here again.
Their whole database was completely and totally leaked. Everything.
Yeah, like personal information, addresses, like crazy shit.
I do remember hearing about that. That was super bad.
Yeah, that wasn't a rumor. That was a real thing.
Because after that, that's where people were getting like doxxed and like all kinds of crazy shit.
Was that Instakiller, the guy who went to jail? Was that the same guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not AFK. These guys don't shut the fuck up, bro.
Throw an elbow and get in there. You got a fucking big enough fucking voice and attitude. Come on now.
I have been at times. I mean, what else do you want me to say?
Everything.
I think you're doing.
Let's get into it.
Call me out on something. Call me out. If
What I want you to say. Hold on a second.
Voice.
What I want to call you out on is, what do you think about what I just said? The fact that a GM's account was in the first game was compromised and used to fucking delete all the keeps in the game. Like, I didn't know that. I just found that out. That's pretty fucking wild.
There's a lot of things you probably need to hear about that.
Wait, what is he gonna respond to that with? Oh yeah, it's great.
Totally fucked. No, it's totally fucked.
Yeah, what's he gonna say?
And it's happened in other games too. But like, what do you do about it? It happened. I don't know what they did to fix it. Replace all the keeps. Give them a keep to put down.
Is that the guy who did it? His name was Discord, and he's still the head GM in the game. By the way,
might be why they made him the head GM. Honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, hell, if you want to
apply experience, he got experience, bro.
Not the one who did. That's what I'm saying. He's the one who leaked his information.
Okay, so you're gonna fire your lead GM because he
probably
did something really fucking dumb.
Fire him for incompetence. Yes, I would.
Okay, you would. That's not him. Maybe he saw something in him, or he knows something. I don't fucking know, bro. But like, I don't know. It happened. Games have.
I've got a
things like this happen.
conspiracy for you guys.
Let's hear it.
What if it's just Henrik and Farmer Joe doing everything, and they just make all different alt Discord accounts, and they're running the whole show just them two?
That would at least explain some of the shit.
Wait, wasn't there a rumor about the lead mod being like the same person, like over and over again, like that got replaced?
Yeah.
I think that's like an actual
there's any
rumor
behind that one. Yeah.
I don't know either, but I keep hearing it, so I don't know.
They need to get better with their prod. They need a scrum master.
They need to get better with a lot of stuff.
They need a scrum master.
It's always the thing though. They need to get better. It's like, what do you guys?
Well, don't we all?
What are you going to do to get that better then?
Yeah,
what am I
need to get better. That's for sure.
I think something that would help them get better is put the fucking brakes on. If you notice, there's enough issues in elementalism where you have to split it up into 2 patches, possibly even extending the roadmap even longer. Because let's be real, are they going to release the last 50 spells with fucking TC at the same time? I mean, I know board games are going to be hard on the server boys, but something tells me that mucking patch might be a little heavy. You know, like,
oh, dude, it's gonna break.
You're gonna roll some dice, and the whole goddamn thing's gonna fall up. The whole island, all of UK is just gonna collapse around the server. Like, it's just like they need to just stop for a little while. It's the same thing when they talk about why TC isn't in the game now. Hey, maybe you need to take a page from your own fucking book and just stop for a second, bro. If you're honest with, like, hey, shit, guys, you know, we really wanted to do this, but we started throwing these cheeky booms everywhere, and you know, shit started going bad. Like, we got to put give us 3 months. We're gonna no subs for 3 more months at least. We're going to get this straightened out. We're going to get these issues everybody's having. We're going to get the fucking crim problem. We're going to get the ping issue kicking people when they hit node lines. We're going to get this lined out because we want Epic release to be great. Like, I don't know why they just don't fucking do that. They've already done it once. They already pushed TC back for a year. Like, fuck, what is another 2 or 3 months to get everything ironed out?
Well, first of all, it's going to take longer than that.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like, fuck. It's already been a year.
Like, so speaking from a business standpoint on that, Greg,
Epic's the reason why.
Yeah, I think that there are stakeholders that are breathing down their back. I also think that they have flaws in their project lifecycle and their ability to actually go back and monitor and control what's going on, and the QA, like we were talking about earlier, there's issues with their QA, and they're not, it doesn't seem like they're very agile. They're just on kind of a straight path, and it's like between the stakeholders breathing down their back, and this is obviously just my opinion here, but between stakeholders breathing down their back and the structure that the organizational structure and project structure that they currently have, it's just not conducive for a fast moving and fast adjusting environment where changes need to be made. And they just got their foot on the gas pedal trying to move forward and get to Epic, like you're mentioning, Greg. And I think that within the company, like somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Sullivan mentioned, like Henrik wasn't even aware of the nourishments on Blood Kua. Like there's a lot of very like intricate things that somebody might be aware of, but it's not a priority for them. And it's difficult for them to actually adjust and communicate with each other.
I think the hot food is a perfect example of that, especially to have something that beneficial before they even did the major rework that they're supposed to be doing to cooking and advanced cooking, etc. I think that's completely the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like the rework for food is in there, but it's on the back burner, so Blood Kua isn't going to change. I mean, it did change because it was a pretty big deal. Like it was a big red button that got pushed, and then they changed it. Similar like trinket fishing. Like we pushed a giant fucking red button when trinket fishing first came out, and they changed their priorities and they fixed it. So it's just a matter of us as a community constantly hitting the red button, but doing so in a strategic manner and not just flaming them and telling them to fuck off and change things like Shadow's doing. You got to be better with your words, man. Like if you want change,
honest people, I've been very good with my words.
You're terrible with your words, bro.
Past that point with you and everyone else in this community. That's what I'm saying. I don't give a shit.
Then leave it, bro. Why are you here, man?
Yeah.
This whole fucking discussion,
dude. This guy's a fucking.
Coming here to ramble on about some random shit for fucking hours.
Man,
fuck, dude. I don't care. What do you think? This wasn't about a community thing. This was gonna come talk to me about our discussion in his fucking in his Twitch. Why the fuck do you think I give a shit about you or anything else in this community? Holy fuck.
Man.
Well, I would say people think you might give a shit because you have been around in this stream for 2 hours and you were around in River stream arguing and stuff for at least an hour, hour and a half. So I mean that's that, like in a 24-hour day. That's a pretty goddamn big, especially if you
I'm
have
getting the same fucking copes I heard for the past fucking year, and I'm out. Good luck, boys. Enjoy your dead game.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
Jesus
if you're
Christ,
gonna
now we can actually talk.
Thank God. Thank the gods.
fucking honey dick that motherfucker there, fucking dunked it on his ass. Well, I mean, let's be honest. In all honesty, like in a 24-hour day, if you fucking work today, like genuine, you're gonna sleep 8 hours. You work fucking 8 hours. How much time you got left in the day? 8 fucking hours. You just spent at least half of that, if not more, in your chat and in this conversation. I mean, and I'm not trying to be a dick to the dude, because in all honesty, I've never actually had any real interactions with him other than today. But it's like some of the arguments
He's a fucking bagger, dude. Fuck him.
I mean, some would say the same about you, but at least you're a little more respectful and honest about your motives and shit like that.
Yeah, Putson's very professional in my opinion.
Did Putson just say, who cares he's a bagger?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
bagger,
like, fuck him. Like, he's fucking banned. Who gives a shit what he says?
Jack,
Jesus Christ.
you can't tell me you don't respect that at least. Like, come on. I respect it. Like, I mean, I respect that more than
Yeah, it is. But I got respect for it.
Yeah,
wait, am I allowed
got a
to
guy
talk
like
to
fucking
Putson? How do I get
Squirrely?
banned?
Like Squirrely doesn't do anything but fucking fish and make this community the most
Better,
non-toxic stream that we could fucking have in this game is fucking Squirrely. And you're like, you want to sit there and yell at this guy? Fuck that, dude. I love Squirrely. Squirrely's fucking dope.
Dude, that guy, I'm not gonna share my opinion. I mean, I've kind of gone off. I've gotten a little unhinged about that guy, but I could very much go on like.
All right, let me. I gotta head out, guys.
I'm not.
Thank you for letting me come on, though. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, I'll take it easy,
Dude, have a great weekend, Putson. It was good chatting with you again, man.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye, Putson.
Okay, so the guy sits here, tells us the game's dead. He doesn't have hours of his life to transport goods, and that's also why he uses bags. But once again, he spent not only this time today, but 10 years of his life sitting in the background, though, malding about it. Why not just disconnect then? Like, why still stay attached?
Attention. He's getting attention and reactions. Like he got me to get worked up, man. Like I don't get worked up very easily, but he got a reaction, and a lot of people do things for reaction.
He is passionate. I agree with what you said, and maybe
that
it's
is where
because...
a lot of that comes from is the passion. But again, if you're so passionate about the game, how can you justify cheating in it? You know what I mean? How can you justify, if you're so passionate about a game, how can you justify completely circumventing the main fundamental and functionality of the game?
I think that gives him less credit speaking on like playing the game and what should be changed and stuff. But even putting that aside, I mean, hang on, I forgot where I was going with that.
Hey, I know where it goes. It happened to me.
I've been ripping bongs while I've been sitting here quietly.
Me too. I got a little too high there for a second. I interrupted y'all's conversation and forgot what I was fucking saying.
I'll call it cheating aside. Like, why not be constructive then if you're going to stay here and try to like make this game the game you want it to be, you know, instead of just trolling essentially.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to see this game succeed. Everything that is wrong with it. Yes, it has a lot of problems. There is a lot of potential, and that's why earlier I said a wipe would probably be beneficial to the game before sub. But they need to fix everything first.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, I wouldn't care. Like, lose the fucking castle. Who cares? Burn it fucking down, dude. We're surrounded by enemies. It's gonna happen anyways. I don't give a shit.
Fix what we
Build
have.
more castles.
Yeah.
It's just like later down the line, but these core things, and one of the reasons our guild name is Integrity is because we don't do shit like that. Like, I saw somebody fucking using the horse exploit for the necro thing through the bags once, and instantly fucking kicked that guy. I was like, fuck that, dude. We don't need that shit around here.
Yeah.
But again, that does punish us in a way because we're not doing all these things the other guilds are, not saying all guilds do it, but other guilds that have gotten away with it. We're still trying to fucking grind the game out the way it's designed, but we're punished because of that, and it's stupid.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I understand that, definitely. But I think the way to go about it is not being a Reddit crazy, for lack of a better word, or keyboard warrior in every fucking buddy's stream, but like try to be respectful, and maybe you'll get a spotlight with Henrik at some time, maybe even get in a voice chat with him, and you can hit him those hard-hitting questions and make him like delve more instead of be vague, maybe.
But you won't be able to do that shit if you get too passionate about it and let your emotions get in the hand. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to like everybody's
stay centered.
And like this is coming from me. I mean, like I said, they're fucking my ass fucking as they say where I'm from. I'll break red on a motherfucker, and I have unfortunately a few times. So it's like I get it, but like you know, there's and Shadow. Like I said, there's a reason he was turned down to like 30%, and everybody else is like 70, 80, 90%. You know, like. I know that, like I said, this is genuinely my first experience with the guy. I'm not a fan of any sort of cheating in any game. Like I said, I don't even fucking. I won't say I don't approve of macros, but I don't use macros, and I don't care what fucking edge I lose. Go ahead.
Even though Shadow cheated, and I don't really like him, we've had our beef, me and him. He does speak some truths on the game as well. I can't deny.
I agree.
He makes. Yeah, absolutely. He makes some very good points. His big issue is word choice and tone. He's approaching it very passionately, but very aggressively. Like there's a time and a place for that energy, but like if you're wanting to be professional and be taken seriously, like you really need to be very wise with your word choice and your tone and how you're approaching it. Otherwise, everybody's gonna think you're a joke, you know?
Maybe not open with you guys are all delusional next time, you know?
Yeah, good point. That's a good example. Great example. Dude, Greg, your background things, man, those are so good. Yeah. The game is the environment in this game. Can we all agree the environment is beautiful?
Well, keep in mind, I've fucking taken all these goddamn videos like fully geared with loot on my body with no bags. Fuck it. The game is so pretty. I want to take advantage of it. I'm going to sit. There have been times where I was doing shit with, in Gamba with Granola. And they're like, all right, we need you over here. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I'll be right back. And I literally go and get these like lava pictures I have right here. Like I'm literally stop and sitting in fucking lava as my friends are like fighting Carney. I'm like, 1 second, just let me get this. And like, that's how beautiful and stunning the game can be. And I think a lot of people overlook that, sadly. Because some people have such a, you know, we gotta crank it down. We gotta get all the FPS we can.
Yeah. Min-max culture.
Yeah, Fathom, they definitely did overpromise. And from a long-term player's opinion, when I saw how fast they were pushing out this and the immediate 24 hours after it, I knew there was going to be a problem for this weekend. I didn't expect a full shutdown, but here we are.
I think what they did was good and bad. I think patches should contain a variety of quality of life, bug fixes, and new content. But I think having a major new content thing such as elementalism, and then also having something such as networking, I don't know if it was like we're down because of the DDoS or the elementalism exactly, but like you can't have two major things at once, I don't think, especially if you're not going to monitor it over the weekend. I was saying that as well. If you're going to be a Monday through Friday company, maybe don't drop major patches on Wednesday, maybe Monday. And you should definitely have a skeleton dev crew over the weekend, not just one fucking poor guy that's spraying a fire hose on the servers.
They're actually helping with some of the world transfer and world building, which makes me a little bit more optimistic regarding that. But when UE5 comes out, it's going to be another dumpster fire. Like it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, UE5 is, I think, on an epic. I literally not even for the pun, but I think on an epic level, it's going to be like issues nobody's seen before. Like it's going to be rough.
Especially after he confirmed the other day that the Epic release, the Epic, or did I say UE5 Epic and paid subs all at once? Like that's that's not a dumpster fire. That's a fucking house fire, bro.
Yeah. No, you're right.
That scares me. That does scare me.
UE5 is not going to fix the fact that currently, right now, they have a lack of XYZ system to identify fucking height and all that other dumb shit. Like they don't have that right now.
Yeah, they've got some
Y, there's no Z.
Yeah, they've got foundational issues.
And this is where we need to press them. Priorities is what I was trying to stress to him the other day. There's an order things need to go in. And you guys have been here. I haven't. 5 months, not 10 years. So maybe I'm doomed to repeat into the cycle. But like we should try to press them and try them to get them prioritized. Security issues, server optimization, stuff. Things that are actually important.
The only thing that they've listened to from launch about our castle being broken was only after the gates were broken down. That's where I thanked Kodo for fucking breaking down the walls, because there was no longer 2 of them. Did they address the rest of the walls that still have double towers in them? No. Do they think it's a problem? No. Have I showed them screenshots, videos, etc., etc., etc.? We can push them all I want, or all we want, but eventually they just stop listening. They don't give a shit, dude. And it's frustrating from player perspective, from guild leaders perspective. Like, at one point, like, something's gotta give, dude. And like, I'm at my wit's end. Like, what am I gonna do? Report the tower is still fucking broken? Like, until it gets knocked down, it's still someone could build a new keep inside of our keep, and that wall would still be fucked up. Same with Old Guard's keep.
Can you elaborate a bit more? I don't understand how it's fucked up.
Oh shit! I probably have screenshots for it. Give me a second.
Like, what's causing it, or
causing it? It's a database error from what we were originally told.
So pretty much you just can't rebuild your wall to your keep. Is that? See, I'm still a noob with a lot of these things. As much as Greg likes to say I'm not, I know some things, but not. I don't know.
There's like 2
I don't know any
physical,
keeps. Just Nightbolt.
2 physical, like each wall has a post. There are 2 of those posts that you can build upon, including those in the towers. So if you upgraded one once upon the time and it didn't go through, or it did go through, it's still there, you know, like you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, it sounds like the database duplicated it.
Yeah, and they've never been able to fucking figure it out how to apply a fix.
Yeah, it's so much more like quiet and less chaotic with this conversation than it was 20 minutes ago. Oh man, it's refreshing.
Yeah, that guy's energy was way too much for me.
Rivers, I'm not, because I'm pretty sure you started playing the game before me. Like, you were, I want to say, a known element in the sewers, a known turd floating in them waters well before I was in the game. So you've been playing for what, 7-8 months ish, something like that, or?
I think I said earlier like 5 or 6. I don't keep track. I guess it's been longer now, maybe a bit more, maybe 7 or something. I started at the end of summer when Clean did. There was a sale at the same time, so sometime around then, I don't know, August, maybe September. That'd just be my guess.
One thing I wanted to bring up is the fact they've like labeled all their sprints, and in the industry, a sprint is only meant to be like a week to a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks max.
Like a week to a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks max. Yeah.
So if we're on sprint 4, it's not going to be, because SV aren't working as the way sprints are usually categorized. But if they were, UE5 would be like 3 months away.
Yeah, they put way too many items. Way too many items in each sprint. They needed to break them down. They needed like 10 sprints minimum. Not
even that. They just needed to stop like adding more and more stuff and instead fixing the things we already have. Like, why do we still have Rysars walking through walls and just appearing out of nowhere?
Not even Rysars. That literally affects every single dungeon in the game. Like, you can't name a single one. Minnow Cave, Satyr Dungeon, fucking every Riser Cave, even like Bandits and Scoundrels at time in the sewers and shit. Like, every single instance of the game having like a dungeon has that same issue. Like, you'll be fighting one Minotaur and one will literally just start hitting you out of nowhere and pop up straight up out of the ground.
Every single time I've seen anyone do Minnow Dungeon on streams or anything, there is the same Minnow that is stuck in the same wall every single time people go in there.
Same with Satyr Dungeon.
If you've ever been to GK, you know there's a fucking Riser Commander stuck in the wall. You'll just be coming down the mountain and his ass will chase you down the mountain all the way across the road and up the other mountain. And I mean, let's be honest, a Riser Commander is going to absolutely murk probably 80% of the player base one-on-one. I mean, in all honesty, like a Riser Commander will smoke, depending on the weapon. If I got a sword or something a little quicker, maybe not. Hammer, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? 100%. I'm going to lose 10 out of 10 times. And that's just a little surprise for just somebody hanging out there, you know? It has like one of the longest aggro ranges I've ever seen of any AI in the fucking game. So like, that's another perfect example of the same. Like, even in MK, there is a fucking scoundrel on the way to the rats down one of the wooden ramps that since release day of that sewer has been standing there, and you can beat the shit out of her and she just constantly like reheals, and they'll like run across the room, run back across, run across the room, run back across. Like, you're not telling me that like waste of AIs, if you multiply that over the 40 fucking Minotaurs, the 30 risers, the 14 scoundrels here or there, you're telling me that wasted just AI pathing running into a wall isn't causing some sort of like clog or bullshit in some area of the game that could be affected positively if you restart that shit? Or delete it. Just delete the fucking mob. Remove it from the pathing system. If its path is that bugged that every time you reset it, it ends up in the same goddamn spot, just remove that mob. Like, maybe completely delete it and re-enter it into the game. I'm not gonna act like I know how it works.
It's as simple as that. I just to sort of like clarify my background, I come from games development background. I've worked within the AAA industry, and I know how Unreal itself works. If they move the spawns of these bandits in the AI and actually like change the AI pathing a little bit more and have like better AI nodes set up, which is how they move from point to point. You either have like a dynamic node where they'll just roam around the general area, or you have set nodes where they will run from this area to that area and then to this area, which you see a lot with certain like guards in Tindrum, for example. You'll just see a guard like sprinting across Tindrum, and that's an AI following the AI node path. So it's very simple of moving their pathing so they're no longer in these areas, but all it takes is one or two devs to actually go around these areas and actually fix these issues. For example, the stair issue in GK Dungeon, I've told them how to fix that, and it's simple fact that usually in the industry you don't want stairs built the way that when you're walking down them, your character visibly bobs up and down, because it in the industry, it's like it can be nauseating for certain players, and also it can just generally cause a lot of issues. So what you do is you put an invisible ramp over those stairs, which also makes any collision issues non-existent because you're not actually walking up those stairs. So the model will be stepping on those stairs, but your character will be going up, the camera-wise going up like a slope. So it's not as nauseating for a player and actually doesn't cause you to have these insane collisions and get stuck and unable to walk upstairs.
Are you still in the industry, dude?
Not at the moment, no. So I was under NDA, so I can't talk about the actual game I was working on, but I was working for a company called Build a Rocket Boy based in Scotland.
Okay, dude, that's awesome.
I wasn't going to pry into that just in case getting a little bit too much, not trying to dox you over here or anything, because I know for some people that's some pretty privileged information, but yeah, there were a couple people who were interested as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of issues. Like, I mean, if you've ever been in Kantari, you will turn the corner, see a palm tree, and there'll be 6 goddamn Campatons just sitting at the top of it. I've literally set multiple times and had to fucking wait there with like stacks of reptile carapace, crustacean carapace for a fucking GM to reset that. Just sit with my hands up my ass waiting, because that's the only way it's going to get fixed.
Yeah, the same thing in Toxai. There was a pig spawn where they'd spawn at the top of a tree, and there'd be like 12 pigs chilling up at the top of a tree because they all spawned on the same node. But
so these are like common problems that you run into during like pre-release, before any players see or play the game type builds of the game. These are like issues I ran into many times when we were going through and making our games. But usually players don't get to see these types of things because you don't release the game this early. I think the biggest problem at the moment is they're still treating this like the game's been released when the game is not finished.
I agree.
The quote unquote finish of this game is when they bring out subs. Like subscription, you can't say the game's not released when you release a subscription base to be able to play the game. But with the amount of issues in this game and the amount of fundamental issues in the back end of the servers, the amount of stuff that needs to be fixed cannot be fixed within the time frame that Henrik wants this to be released. It's just not going to happen. For example, the node line issue is going to be very difficult to fix because that is a back-end server rendering issue. And I'm assuming, because I just how old it is, very few people probably even know how that code works anymore. And the amount of stuff that's going to have to be rewritten or modified is just going to break other things. So unless they went back to the drawing board and just redid that entire section of it, that issue is going to be there for the rest of this game's life.
But they had the opportunity to do that before even fucking releasing it, so that's their bad.
But they didn't. Easily one of the main things they could have done was, before they even released this game, was work through everything that they had in Mortal Online 1, make sure it all works on Mortal Online 2, and then release Mortal Online 2 as the upgrade from Mortal Online 1. But essentially what we've got is we've just got a stripped back version of Mortal Online 1 with better graphics and some better quality of life things, and now Henrik wants to add everything back in, which is just bringing more issues, more bugs, and just piling them on top of a load of other issues. So when you fix one thing, it's going to break something else, and then you're just going to be forever chasing bugs that are just breaking different things along the game.
Yep. And I think that the way forward is not necessarily like Henrik's vision. I bring this up a lot, they should take a note from like Rust. Like if anybody played 2013 Rust, it was very scuffed, and then they changed the game. And I think he needs to like adapt to the environment around him. And that's, this might not be a carbon copy of MO1 and all the systems and everything. And that's okay, as long as it's like a good playable game and everybody that plays it doesn't have to deal with a major amount of exploiting and cheating, even though that'll always exist, and just basic quality of life things or performance and stuff like that. It's okay for this to evolve into something else, a new game.
Just to answer Justin's question in chat, it's hard to say exactly how many development hours it would take to fix, because the grand scheme, like the grand scale of these issues is like not completely known. Like we don't know exactly what causes the Rysart issue. It could be a multitude of things, like for example the AI pathing towards a character entity, which would be the players. It's snapping to like the quickest way to get to that player, and for some reason it's pathing straight through other assets. So whether that's an issue with the AI's collision with certain assets or the AI's pathing itself, it is stuff that would need to be looked into. But like fixing that may break something else and may cause them to get stuck in certain places. So again, it's just like a whole chasing the wild goose of bugs essentially. But things like the stair issue can very easily be fixed. You just put an invisible ramp on top of the stairs, and you no longer have the issue of not being able to run upstairs or getting stuck on a step or suddenly taking full damage when you fall down a couple stairs, because it's a ramp, it's not stairs.
Or like the GK spider dungeon that I will say they at least fixed, or seemingly fixed in this patch, where you would walk out and if you were on the left side, you literally got shot. Happened to me, happened to Lourdes, happened to me on, I don't think it was on stream, but I was recording. In the middle of a PvP fight with the Dreadlords and Carney, I walk out of that dungeon full health, get shot up 70 feet in the air, and take 120 fall damage in the middle of a fucking fight.
You know what they called that bug? Yeah. The space program. It's a fucking meme, according to them, too. Can you please ban this guy thing, though, before his name comes up? Craig.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
sorry,
like
I'm not with that word in particular.
Well,
so I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
stream. Like, come on, dude. We're all fucking adults.
Stream does not support that word, or do not think that word should be used in any context or any form and fashion unless you're of that culture or that ethnicity. We do not support those facts or those words or that name in any form or fashion. Thank you very much. Please continue the conversation.
Round of applause for Greg, please.
Round of applause. Like,
I got time.
What can a man do with that? Jesus Christ.
Going off Justin's comment again, give me a week and I could find most of the issues in GK Dungeon, for example. Just give me a week and I could probably bug 20, 30, 40 different issues in there.
Well, you could report them. How long is it going to take to...
Well, I'm talking from like a QA, going in as a QA side, I could easily raise 30, 40 bugs in that area that could be fixed, some pretty quickly, others may take a month, 2 months, but it works from build to build, and one build it may be working, another build it may break suddenly again. And just to jump onto the whole UE5 discussion, the UE5 is probably one of the biggest headaches for any developer if you're trying to move from UE4 to UE5. We moved from UE4 to UE5, and the amount of bugs that resurfaced was incomprehensible. We lost about 3 to 6 months of development.
Wow.
And that was for a AAA size studio. Well, I knew a group of people that were trying to do a very small game, and it was a very small group of people who upgraded to Unreal Engine 5 and still lost about 3 months of development.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, even if it's a smooth transition, there's absolutely no way that you're not going to have some sort of issue somewhere. Like, you're going to have people going over that shit constantly, trying to just like stitch shit together, iron things out. Like, there's lighting issues, like audio, like all just, I mean, the list, man, has to be unreal. Again, not for the pun, but has to actually be fucking unreal, the amount of things that can go wrong.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's because like the way generating works in Unreal Engine 5, the way they've changed the lighting system in Unreal Engine 5, Nanite is not as simple as turn Nanite on and it fixes everything. It doesn't work that simply as much as everyone would love it to. If your geometry is not set up correctly for it, you will need to modify your asset geometry a lot for Nanites to actually start working correctly. And even then, it's mostly just trying to get it all to work together without all of a sudden having parts of your geometry just break, because the way terrain is made in games is made on flat planes, which are then modified into certain like height maps and such, which can break, which then causes gaps within the map, which, I mean, I've seen on Tats's stream, he'll just be riding on a horse and all of a sudden he just goes through the geometry very simply because they've just clicked the disable collisions on that thing and not turned the collisions back on in that build. That's as simple as that issue is, just turning the collisions back on for that plane. But there's so many like very simple issues which could be solved. Like, I don't know, get one of the devs to go through and check certain areas of the map, and if you see there's AI spawning in a fucking wall, delete them. It's very simple. Even that doesn't really take a game dev to understand that. Delete the things that are stuck in certain walls, and all of a sudden you're lowering the load on everyone's computer. Not by a lot, but by enough that some people may see a difference, because now you don't have 4, 5, 6 scoundrels stuck under the ground or stuck in walls and just running out of these walls at you.
This is real great, especially with a little more insight. I don't,
not
to doubt you, but I don't know how credible it is. But I'd like to hear Henrik's response to some of these questions to like kind of see what he says back. I hope we could be calm enough to actually get him in here to do something like that.
Nah, bro, he's out for the weekend.
Well, I mean, not to be that guy, but I will say he was in Lourdes's chat watching him play a different game when the servers are down and there are people here trying to have a conversation. So not to call him out, but that was fact. Because like when you were, because I had your Lourdes's stream up flipping back and forth, and I just happened to bring it up because Shadow was in there earlier. To see if Shadow was in there, and the first name I see is VIP Mortal Online 2. Was like, damn.
Oh, and just so like nobody's like losing complete faith in SV, I can almost guarantee you that they are working overtime over the weekend to get this issue fixed. There is no way. Yeah, there is no way in any world that they are not working overtime on the weekend just to be able to fix this issue. I like that in a live service game, which is like this game's live and it's currently being worked on. The idea that there is this type of issue, you can't just say, right, well, Friday's here, so we'll fix it on Monday, because there's actually people playing. So Henrik's losing revenue because this is down. So I can guarantee you they are working over the weekend to fix this issue, which, you know, my respect goes out to any developers that have this sort of like pride in the game, because they will put everything into it, and the amount of hours these people work is insane.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's, and most stakeholders don't realize like what it's like. Like the burnout is so bad. Like I feel so bad for people that are software developers or that just crunch code. Like, man, it must be like boiling for you at times.
Do you think they're going to be able, you know, working over the weekend? You think it's coming back tomorrow, early Sunday, or you think it's going to be like Monday afternoon?
It completely depends on like the scale of the issue and what's actually happened. If it's a DDoS attack, then as long as they find out what caused the DDoS attack, they're probably going to patch those holes before they reopen the game. So that could be a Sunday release, or they may take the time and say, right, well, we've got the whole weekend to basically fix some issues while we're here. Let's fix as many bugs as we fucking can. We fixed this issue on Saturday, but let's keep it down till Monday and just fix as many quick bugs as we can. There's like a hot fix while nobody's on stressing the system.
Yeah, I would think where they've already declared it's going to be down this amount of time that they would be foolish, even if they get it fixed, to bring it up before that time. Because why would you not take the opportunity to get every goddamn thing you can get done? You've already taken that step, such a drastic step, such a step that's going to absolutely piss off pretty much every player. So why not just take full advantage of that and go forward with it?
Well, you gave him permission now.
Yeah, you goddamn right it did.
I'd like to see it come up as soon as possible.
I don't think some people might call me a doomer, but well, the funny thing is, like the update, I like with the whole release, I was like, this is the time, and I fucking moved like 1,000 goddamn gold worth of shit up to my house, like this bench, that bench, this bench, this, like stacks of this, stacks of that. Get it up there in the house, and then my fucking house breaks. So I can't like put anything. I can't move this. I can't move that. Everything that was in this chest is fucking broken. It's all misaligned. Like, and I contact the GMs and they're like, well, well, this is Hazan actually, because I'm like tilted. I've been trying to fix this for like 30 minutes now, you know, just waiting for Levia to come and all surge me to death and me have to like open the door to my house to get back in. You know what I mean? Them just bum rush me and all this shit. And I'm sitting here waiting for these GMs, and he's messaging me back and forth, and he's telling me like, we don't have these permissions. The lead GM will have to come here and physically, manually reset your house for this to work. And I'm like, and I literally, I start like in voice chat. I'm talking, I think Rivers was there too. I don't know if it was on his stream or not, but I'm like, these motherfuckers, I've been talking to these fucking GMs. They're like, blah, blah, blah. And I get a message from Hazan. We're here. We can hear you. And I'm like, well, if you can hear me, fix this shit, motherfucker. And then like all this happened. So that's been like that was my Wednesday. Thursday, I didn't get to play because of like, it seemed like a lot of people didn't have issues like once they were kind of on and going, but like getting in and actually getting going once you get in, like I couldn't play Thursday. So that's like damn near, that's a whole damn fucking week, a whole 5 day span of time. It's fucked, you know? I spent at least an hour to 2 hours fucking around with that house trying to get that shit to work. You know, like we weren't able to make like how many sets of bone tissue full grain leather armor we couldn't make because that shit was stuck in that chest, you know? That bone tissue could have turned into a silver ruber.
See, something I find like absolutely crazy is the simple fact that SV, like, if we're being honest, we're all beta testers. We paid this game to be beta testers because the game's not fully released. The amount of bugs that are in this game, there's no way you can't call it, like, you can call this game anywhere near released.
Agree.
So I don't know why they're not taking advantage for the fact that they have a player base of people that are very passionate about this game. And, like, it comes back onto the idea of, like, wipes. Very easily they could be testing out certain systems and have everybody understand that this is for like these wipes and certain times that we do this is for us to test different things in the game. And you know, elementalism comes out, oh no, people have found massive exploits and all of a sudden all of this shit's happened and people have lost loads of stuff. Okay, well, it's going to wipe, so they're going to fix that by next wipe, so we don't have to worry about all that stuff. And then when actual release, like some people may say, oh, I'm just going to stop playing until actual release comes out, and then that's that. And then other people may be like, well, yeah, I'll be here for when massive content things comes out and we actually get to play these sort of things. And it just allows them to test out loads of like little things that they can't otherwise test out on a perpetual unwiping world.
Well, because people want to keep their stuff. So, like, why I agree with you, and I think that would be beneficial. At the same time, like, they would lose a lot of the active current community if they did do a wipe, especially for the newest people, which sucks. But it's then we're in a catch-22. You wipe or you don't wipe.
I agree.
Well, but then TC comes out and people are able to like start zerging down strongholds and stuff, and people lose their stuff and then leave the game anyway.
I mean, that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, that has nothing to do.
For example, it's pretty well known how much ridiculous amounts of steel that Tats has, for example. I'm just using Tats because I know how much he has. But he's got like close to 500,000 of steel. if somebody had that in a stronghold and it got zerged day one, they would be pretty demotivated to continue playing the game.
True, but also in that regard, houses that drop should drop the shit that's in them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like,
well,
have any
of you gentlemen ever played V Rising?
I have not, but I've heard.
No.
It had a similar system where you had like, it's kind of Imagine Rust, Valheim fucked each other, had a weird like vampire baby, and you could like make these castles your bases and shit, and they had a heart, and you could, during specific times, which I wasn't really a fan of this, there was a raiding period, and you could raid somebody's castle, and once you got to this heart, you could craft a key. From depending on which key it was easier and less match to craft, or more expensive and harder to craft. But you could have one of two keys. One, you fucking destroy it. You go to the heart, you turn that key, the bitch is gone. Everything that was in every chest, every lootable item in the whole fucking place is in a bag on the ground, just scattered everywhere around you. Or you could turn that key, you could spend the most expensive key, and that keep would be yours. Everything in the chest, you could go and do this, you could go and do that. See, like, I don't know if they plan on having something like that, but I've seen in games where, like you said, when that keep gets popped, it's just loot bag city. And like, if nobody's ever seen or experienced that, it's fucking nice when you blast somebody's shit and it's just like an endless bags of loot everywhere around you to just like Easter egg hunt around. Now, to counteract that, I had like I was on a server by myself. I pissed the dude off because I ganked him while he was low. He got a whole clan, his whole 4 people in his clan, and hired another clan to come and raid me with like 2 stone golems. Well, they destroyed my shit without contest, but they didn't know where my good loot was. So I was able to sneak off while they're like, oh shit, and I just threw everything I could in my inventory, threw it on, got the fuck out of there. They never killed me. But everything else is gone. It's theirs if they want it. They can keep it. Other people can come and grab it. More PvP can happen from people trying to third party, fourth party. Like, I'm not really aware because I've never seen it. But if a keeper of stronghold pops, is literally, are all the materials just gone?
Gone.
Yeah, see,
every last bit of it gone.
Then what's the fucking benefit of like sieging one other than to just wipe somebody's shit off the map?
It's a gold sink. It's literally a gold sink. I mean, you're gonna see fucking Kodo come out and do it. They're gonna fucking take every castle they can. Then when they go to sleep, fucking Levy is gonna wake up and take every other fucking one. Like, it's just gonna be a constant thing. Like, it's a set piece that you can like stroke your dick about. Like, yeah, it's cool to have, but at the end of the day, it does absolutely nothing but cost you fucking money and give you a safe place to script.
Well, I also heard in MO1, didn't they have like NPC farmers or some shit, or is that all just hubbub?
I don't know.
I'm not for sure.
I didn't have a castle in MO1.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They had merchants and all kinds of other stuff. I don't think they had farming NPCs, but you could sell your goods and you could blacklist people from your territory and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I have a feeling that at least the beginning of territory control, when we have like sieging and stuff, is essentially just going to be Rust on crack. You're just going to have people rushing down all these strongholds to just destroy them and basically get rid of them. And I feel like that's going to hurt a lot of people because you're going to suddenly start seeing loads of loot either changing hands or just disappearing. Because I'm not sure what Henrik's plan is with the territory system and siege system, if you can loot it or not. If you can loot it, great. But it's just going to become like who gets the payload of like 2 million steel? Is it this guild, or do they get offline raided and now it's this guild? And it's just like you're basically just transferring a massive amount of resources between certain guilds who use it a little bit, but at the end of the day, the amount of fucking resources that are out there and people have, it's like people literally have a near infinite supply of resources. So it's like, what's the point other than, I don't like your guild, I want to destroy your stuff? I feel like the amount of time that's the game's been up and people have had, like, exploits have come through, and as much as they want to say they've got rid of all the cheaters and all the cheater stuff, the amount, like, you cannot tell me you got rid of all of the gold that was cheated into the game when it is very easy for that gold to just be laundered through 4, 5, 6, 7 people, where it's like, okay, I just duped 6,000 gold. I'm going to pay 6,000 gold for this ring, who then this person's going to move this gold over here. They're going to buy something over there. You can't keep track of gold that deep.
No, but they're not even trying to keep track of it that deep. They're still actively being sold on. I don't know what somebody's fucking mentioned the site before, but like you could go on there right now and buy fucking gold for real life money, and that's fucking super no. But yet, like, you could supply that link to fucking Henrik.
I think the main issue is the size of the team and what they want to do with the game at the moment.
Yeah,
because it's not a big studio. Everyone knows that. So it would need to be a massive decision whether they stop releasing content and only focus on bug fixes for like the next 6 months, or they continue releasing stuff and try to keep up with bug fixes. I would personally like to see quality of life changes and bug fixes come out before we start getting loads of new content, because I feel like if the game's more stable, works better, and people are actually able to enjoy certain parts of it without all these like crazy amounts of different things coming in and breaking different things in the game, then it'd be in a much healthier state. Territory control would be able to have a sufficient amount. Like I've seen a lot of people saying in chat about it. Why don't we have a public test realm server? Why don't we have a PTR?
Well, like I was saying, I think the only way they could make that work would it be like Haven instances, small, just like crank everything up to the max. You fucking start out level 100 elementalism, whatever they're trying to test. The materials you get like 10 times rate, easier to find everywhere, whatever the fuck, just so people can get to that point to try and test shit. I think that is the absolute only way it ever worked.
Well, in beta, they gave us all that shit in fucking barrels and whatnot.
Yeah.
So just make a fucking Haven instance for these test things with those elements in there, and boom, you have the test, and they'll give you all the data you need. Because obviously, like, a bunch of people mining all over the place, mining these special nodes, and then shooting a bunch of shit up in the sky where spells never used to go before was going to cause issues. Like, for fuck's sake, we knew this was happening. Maybe not to this extent, but yeah, for sure it was going to break.
Yeah, like if, for example, elementalism, if they release a PTR and they're like, right, this PTR is going to be out for the weekend. We're releasing it on Friday and it's going down on Monday. And people join the PTR, they just grind out things in the PTR. They very quickly find out that the spawn rate of all the stuff in elementalism is way too low and way too difficult to actually find. And they find out certain spells are broken, or you can do certain things with spells that you're not meant to, and all of them get fixed before they go to a live server. And it's like the people that decide they don't want to be in the PTR and they want to just stay on like main nave, okay, they get elementalism working. They don't have to be like, right, all right, guys, let's all get together. We're going to go find these rock crystals. And then they spend 6 hours out in the middle of fucking nowhere finding a grand total of 0 rock crystals because nobody knows where they spawn. And the only place anyone knows where they spawn is currently being zerged by 4 different massive guilds when it's meant to be something easy for a newbie player to get on their own.
5 minutes out of Haven. When in actuality, it is hilarious that it is the best way to level elementalism currently and have access to it is in Haven. I understand getting like your toes wet, but the fact that, like you said, there are people who, well, not at this point because the servers have been down pretty much all day, but who've put like, we'll just say 24 to fucking 40 hours or more just searching here, searching there, here, rumor going over here, mining this or that here, picking these, picking those, and like you said, have gotten absolutely nothing out of it. Is a bit disappointing.
Yeah,
but I do think that search, that Easter egg hunt, is enjoyable to a point. You know what I mean? Like, you at least got to let motherfuckers know there are eggs hidden before they can go looking for them. You know what I mean? Like that's the main problem. And that's, I guess, one of the times when people would say the map's a little too big, but like, it's just a bit rough.
Well, it's also limiting because, take me for example, I don't really have an alt. I have my character that I need to fight and do XYZ with. Am I able to try out Beast Mastery? Am I able to try out Elementalism? I can't do any of that stuff without sacrificing my position on the battlefield, which is fucked up. Like, And at that point, I need to either buy another account, buy another computer, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's not a great way for someone that wants to have new content that's been playing for a while to experience the game. It's that, oh, re-roll or buy another account.
Yeah,
That's not cool.
I agree completely on the whole Easter egg hunt for elementalism. I love the idea of, right, where is it? But don't say it's in Nave, because like that doesn't help anybody. It's like, okay, we're in Nave. I'm going to spend the next fucking like 3 days looking around Nave and get bored by the end of the first day. It's like if they said, oh, it's near so and so area. There's been reports of people bringing it in from this area. Then okay, we know what rough area we need to go to find this stuff. That way, you've cut down the entire server-wide search to this area for these resources. That way, yes, it's still a bit of a hunt. People need to find exactly where it's spawning and where the best spawn places are. But they're also not just walking along for hours, like walking down Calx River outside Fab looking for rock crystals, because we were told it's really easy for a newbie to get a hold of. When in actuality, they were spawning over in Granham Pass, and that was being zerged by like 3 different guilds. We had like 13 to 16 Odin Seed rolling through, along with loads and loads of $2 Horde and loads of Levia just all zerging the place, which, yeah, fair enough, that's bound to happen. But it's like, these are not places which you can expect a new player to just go around freely. Like, people were finding some resources up by the volcano area. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see a new player going up to the volcano area and surviving long enough to be able to bring anything back. Because the guilds that are up there will kill them instantly.
But before the patch, I think I've been there once to check it out, just because it is extremely pretty. But like before the patch, there's no other reason to go into that area.
I feel like if these things were sufficiently tested, we wouldn't be in have these situations where, you know, a lot of the player base is complaining about spawn rates, and people have gripes with certain issues of it. Like, yeah, that's bound to happen, but having sufficient testing on these areas allows them to crash test certain things and what's going to work for this patch. Like, oh, you know, this is the spawn rate of it. We've got like 20 testers playing it. Okay, on average, a player is able to yield this much resource over this amount of time. Is that sufficiently enough for them to be able to actually get things out of there? Or is it like, okay, this player's got 2 rock crystals on average. Okay, we need to raise the spawn rate a little bit. Okay, a player is on average coming out with 5 to 10 rock crystals over the course of an hour. That's roughly where we want it to be. Then we ship that. But there is no testing, like, from our perspective, there is no testing of, like, quote unquote realistic testing in that sort of environment where people are rolling around trying to find it and killing other people and stuff. It's like, on average, how much could they get out? And is the spawn rate high enough for that to actually happen?
And someone else said earlier, so like whatever criticisms you may have about like a test realm, like it doesn't have to be live 24/7. I think I'd look at it like an old event, in-game event, like Henrik would have, like the tournament. We open up like a portal in all the cities. You can go through it. You go to the PTR. Henrik's there in game. You can ask him questions in voice, test out the new mechanics, and it's just like a win-win for everyone.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's like it's something like, for example, Dark and Darker do a test every few months or something where they bring it off like a weekend.
Exactly.
A PTR could, like, oh, we're announcing, right, Elementalism PTR happens over this weekend, or we're extending it, it's going to happen over this week. Like, the players that then want to go off into the PTR and do what they want to do and experience all that new content can, and then also the players that are just in normal Nave can just continue playing the game normally and don't have to worry about, okay, we got a patch coming, but what's going to break?
And also,
it wouldn't fuck the economy either, because that would just be in a non-existent land where you could play around with it and have fun, which would be beneficial to older players.
When it comes to fucking the economy, some people could make the argument that if you allow people to learn these spells, have access to the reagents, know what the reagents are, have any sort of information about where they may or may not spawn, they can most likely communicate that information out to their guild so that preparation can be had. You know, whether that item is or isn't in the game currently, or in MO1 it was this, and MO1 it spawned here. Like, that's the one argument that I think could maybe be like completely against it. But then there are ways around that. Make the spells castable without the reagents. Make the, you know, who knows? Like, there are a bunch of different ways.
And put the spawn places somewhere in Haven. Just put them on a Haven instance, so they have the outside of Haven and the inside town of Haven, and just place the like rock crystals and everywhere in different places where they're not going to be in Nave, so people can still go out and find them and start collecting them all, so you can test out the spawn rate of like rock crystals, for example, and how often people are able to collect them. And then they can have access to the spells and everything. And I mean, it's very easy to like change it. Like, oh, instead of it being a rock crystal and some glass, you just make it a rock crystal. And then when they get into the actual Nave and it's actually released, oh shit, it also needs glass. Okay, where are we getting that from?
Well, you can get 24 black sea glass for 250 gold each from off sauce if you're interested. But buy now. Servers might be down, but hey, that's not stopping the RMT right now. Which, like, I'm not gonna name names, but like, you know, people, especially with the bagging and stuff, you know, just because I didn't know this until well after the fact, and I don't like aligning myself with any of that situation. But there have been people there was a couple in Gamble towards the end that it found out that they weren't baggers, but there were things that had happened where like we're a bit, you know, so like like as bad as it is, unfortunately, it is like, even if you don't know. Like, you would be surprised how many people in this game are doing one thing or another, shady, this way, that way, RMT, bagging, hacking, fly, whatever the fuck. Like, it is wild. What's like with, you know, Putin is a perfect example. I don't know if anybody other than the people who knew in his, you know, group of friends or guild, etc., I don't know if anybody would have expected that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things, like there are a lot of people who, well, it's like right now, currently, a lot of people theorize like somebody's found a way to either like dupe the Minnow King or dupe the axes in a way that they're able to like lower the price from like 1500-ish, 1600-ish to like 800, 600 gold within a week. And that's in like MK, you know, like somebody has to go to the Minnow Cave, beat the Minnow King, make it out, go to Tendrum, trade the axe, get the book, take it all the way to MK, and they're selling it for like literally 50% of what the price was a few days prior. Like, you know, so there could be certain things currently going on. I mean, look at the price of Riser books. I know a lot of people are in there running the dungeon constantly, but like a lot of prices of stuff have gone down as the supply seems to have started going up.
Yeah.
I mean, GMs also can't address some basic issues. For example, stuff moving around between different houses if they're too close together. Why they tried to adjust this from being able to initially be placed next to each other, their only solution right now is you have to put everything in bags. If you don't want it like showing up or giving a visual bug, which they say it's a visual bug, who knows if you can actually pick that stuff up and it's duping or not. I don't, because integrity, but chances are somebody out there does, and they're probably actively doing it.
It's like, for example, when I said my house broke, like that house has been there for a minute. A lot of looties come in and out. Well, when they fixed my house, I'm moving shit around and organizing. I move something, drop it in a box, and then a Chronite fucking pole sword just pops into my inventory. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Was it actually a Chronite pole sword?
Yes, and it came out in my inventory. I pulled it out and I started smacking some people in my house with it. I don't know who put it there, when it got put there, how, what, when, where, but it's there. Wasn't there a minute ago. So like,
and your house is within a node at least close enough to another house, or no?
Well, I mean, it's up in GK. Like my home priest is Levia's stronghold, the Citadel. So it's like pretty close to a lot of shit. And I can literally be in my house, in my chest, and see people in their stronghold, in other houses around me, moving their shit. And I can see it in my chest. My shit is disappearing as their shit is appearing in my chest, and I can't do anything about it. So
and
I don't know.
The GM say it's all okay. No, it's just a
it's just
visual
one
bug.
of those things. Is that something from back when the previous owner had the house and it just had a problem, and when that got reset, like it just a bunch of shit that just happened to, because there was when I first got the house, there was a riser. What was it? Some sort of riser, like hammerheads or some dumb shit like that. There was a book and it was in a chest. And Lourdes was like, it's in this fucking chest. I'm like, bro, I promise you, like, I look at, like, here, look, like, I swear to Christ, I literally sat for like 45 minutes getting an item and moving it in every single chest, in every single space, in every single chest. And eventually, there pops up the riser book. So, like, who knows how many situations are like that? And then is that considered duping? Did I dupe that Crow Knight pole sword? It didn't hit worth shit, but it looked pretty. So, I mean, there's like situations that happen like that all the time.
In all technicality, yes, you did dupe it. Did you do it by purpose? No. Did it dupe your riser book? No, it made it more difficult for you to find it, which is fundamental problems that they need to be addressing. And the fact that it's been this long and they're letting us all run amok, like, change how the coding on the box works. Like, I mean, shit, for the longest time, or I still think it's, if you're only the owner, if you right click something, it will go into a stack. But if you're not the owner of the house and you have the password and try right clicking, it will not go into the stack. It will create a new item ID for it or whatever, unless you drag out the original item, stack them together, and then put it back with the password.
I want to say
that still doesn't evolve.
I want to say that only occurs like if you have like a stack of 4,000 in the chest and a stack of 5,000. You're trying to right click. It's more than one stack, so it won't combine and then make another item. That's the only time I've ran into that. Like if it's like, 100 and you're throwing in another right clicking 500, I've never had a problem with it that way. Like in South Toxi, Squirrely Stronghold, I'll be right clicking crustacean carapace like a motherfucker,
And as not the owner, because I experienced something different.
No, trust me, I'm too damn poor to be paying the upkeep on a stronghold. Let me tell you, I spend my money way too fast.
There
Shit's
are
expensive. I ain't even got my equerry down, if that tells you anything. All right.
Don't worry, Starvolt gives me a new one every week. You can have one.
Well, also, if nobody knew this, you can literally fill your fucking equerry up, and this might be an exploit. This might be me getting banned right here. You can fill your equerry up, okay? Take the fucking equerry out, put it in a chest, log off. When you get back on, pull the fucking equerry out, put it down. Your whole equerry's still there. Pull your horse out, pick it back up, put it in the chest. You don't have to worry about, now, if that's only really convenient if you're the owner or constantly with the owner. But like, you know what I mean? That's an exploit because your upkeep for a small house is like 60 days. Some shit like actually, that. If you put an equerry down, it goes to 6. You know what I mean? Like you're completely circumventing that, like the upkeep tax.
But the pets are supposed to go with the actual equerry. That is the only intended part of that is working. It's the fact that your equerry can disappear and then all your animals are gone. Like, hey, here's an equerry to replace it. Oh, sorry, your animals are gone. There's nothing in the logs about it.
There's a lot of quality of life changes I would really like to see come into this game before a lot more major patches of like things come in. And there's very simple things like I would like to see, instead of filling a bank with bags, being able to buy extra space in your bank. I would rather one massive
similar
window
to
with multiple pages
with their inventory.
Yeah.
If you're not an EOD member, you can literally, through the environment and places around you, gather materials with cash, etc., that allows you to extend your inventory. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Exactly.
Give people something to work with.
Yeah, or even what they have in like WoW, where you just have like multiple pages and you can just put stuff in the bank and go to a different page. And put stuff
similar.
In the bank. Yeah, I just feel like that would be a much more quality of life change than I'm going to buy KPS bags and fill my bank with them because I need more space.
Well, I mean, if they would at least let you color code, and this is something again Tarkov does, it'll let you color code, let you write a name, etc. If they let you do that, it would help a little bit. But like, even if you're like me and have some little bit of OCD and like make sure every bank you have is like similarly laid out, there will still be times where you got to spend 5 or 10 minutes fucking shift clicking all this shit. Just, is it here? Is it here? Is it there? No, I thought it was like, I think everybody in the game with any sort of bank has had that issue that's probably spent more time doing that bullshit than they'd want to admit.
And even though this is completely part of the game, as a red player who very easily can get bounty hunted in town, I want to be able to get in town and use my bank as quickly and effectively as possible. I don't want to be messing around in my bank and then get mage banged and get bounty hunted because I was trying to open up a bag and it kept going into my inventory because I clicked control instead of shift. And I'm just struggling to get things out of my inventory because I right click them in the bag and it goes into the main inventory. It's just, it's very small things I think could change that could make it a lot better. And also things like, I want to be able to go into my guild and filter by people that are online, or I don't know, filter by whoever's got the most murder counts or whoever's at the highest rank in the guild. It's very simple little changes that I would really like to see in the game. Like, I don't think it would take too much sort of development time to really make it so I can go into my guild list and go, right, who's got the most murder counts, or who's online, or who's at the highest rank at the moment.
I think they underestimate all of these things, these QOLs and everything you're talking about. They think these big ambitious patches like TC will bring players back. And I'm not saying that they won't, but like versus like kind of value wise, like the amount of manpower put in versus the outcome returning players. I think a lot of these QOLs and performance issues, if fixed, would bring people back.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's things like, you know, if Minnow Dungeon and other dungeons like Rizar Dungeon was fixed, and it's a lot less of a headache to run, people would be doing it a lot more, and they'll be a lot more interested in going to these places. Because at the moment, people don't want to go to Rizar Dungeon. Yes, because you've got guilds that just have it on complete lockdown, but also because the stairs are broken and Rizar's run out of the wall to you and will never stop leashing you. So it's like going down there is you're basically dead. But yeah, there's just a lot of quality of life changes that are just very simple, very easy that I would like to see, and I feel like would make a massive difference. But then again, I also have a very strong opinion on the whole standing system, which is a whole different discussion. Because I feel like I love the bounty system, but I feel like it is definitely unfinished because you can't do anything with the bounty hunter coins you get. And I feel like you should be able to. But at the same time, I think the standing system is a little bit harsh for players because if you drop below a bit of standing, you've got to do cave camp to... I can't remember where the other one is because I meticulously keep on top of my standing, but the idea
Kranesh,
that...
I believe it's cave camp to Kranesh one way.
Yeah, and the idea that you could like lose access to 3 entire towns in the game. Like, if you lose Tindremic, you're out of, I believe it's Meduli, Fab, and Tindrem. You can't enter any of those places, which there are players, a lot of players, that just can't enter towns. And it's like, these are big parts of, like, the social aspect of the game, which I understand completely. It's like the whole idea of, if you're a red player, you shouldn't be running around town. But from a gameplay perspective, I think that it is just so punishing to be like a red player. Because you're just leaning on people for everything.
It's not as bad as it was in, say, Ultima, where if you got +5 murder counts, you weren't allowed in any blue town. I don't think the rep system is great, to be honest.
Yeah, my main argument to that is, I understand it was worse somewhere else, but that doesn't mean it's better here.
Agree.
I think. In a perfect world, my opinion on this would be no standing system. The bounty system is great. Like, let people build up their murder counts and give people an increasing amount of reward depending on their murder counts, and have people be able to just bounty hunt them. Because the idea of me being in town and constantly looking over my shoulder because someone could just roll up and start hitting me is great. I love it. I love the fact that someone can roll up on me and just kill me in town as a bounty hunter. But
yeah, I would argue, like what you're saying, maybe in further things like maybe reagents and just shopkeeping, posting things in the marketplace, your pricing is higher if you're a killer. But to not allow them in town altogether, I could see that being like removed or changed for a better experience.
Yeah, especially right now. Like, once they have vendors and they have player towns where those red players can actually go to gear up, and it has its own economy that's not subjected to the actual cities. And like in Ultima Online, you had player vendors everywhere. So even if you were pure red, you still had the opportunity to gear up, and you had your places that you would go to get your gear because you knew X player was making this equipment, and you could buy it for a reasonable price. But that's not obviously that's not an MO2 right now.
Well, I mean, in that aspect, you could just recall there too.
In my opinion,
different quality.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Instead of making it to where they're never banned from towns, because I think being banned from towns, whether there's a rep system or not, it is the weight that comes with your actions. It is the repercussions. To counterbalance that, make red towns worth fucking going in. Like, why they didn't take some, like, put a necro vendor in the red towns? It's illegal. It's an illegal activity everywhere else. Well, why not have one in a red town? Maybe not have ritualist notes and shit, but like, let a motherfucker sell some candles and some circles in there. You know what I mean? Like, give them a reason, give people something to do, somewhere to go and buy something specific. Like, I'm not saying, well, like, you look at the cave camp. The cave camp has got all these specific books. It's got every fucking line, fishing hook. It's got so much shit. Like, why doesn't cave camp have something similar? Some would say it does with the Merc plate, but like, Kornesh should have something. GK, I guess some people would say it has the Berserker armor, but like, just give more of a reason, more of a motivation for people to go to red towns, because I think the possibility of being banned from the 3 biggest player community social hubs, social centers in the game is like, I mean, why do you think Taz spent all that fucking time running those parcels back and forth? Because he wanted to interact with all those players. You know what I mean? So like, it's like, what other real like deterrent is there for, to be a murderer? Because like, there has to be something. Like, oh, you can get bounty hunted. Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the fucking second they pull your bounty, you're 14,000 meters away and they delete the goddamn thing. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. That's 9 bounties out of 10. And what sucks is the 100%. One person who pulls the 10th one, oh, he's 200 meters away. Let me turn around and fucking thunder lash him. Like that. That's the shame in the bounty system.
Truly, and no reward.
I've never had a bounty with the bounty hunter system 15k away.
Every single one I picked up before I went red was like 18k.
Or like
east.
You have Nahawat in the game. It is a fucking illegal item. Like, again, these illegal things, have them in lawless cities. You should be able to pick a stack of Nahawat, take it to fucking Kornesh, and turn it into a vendor for something. Like, you should be able to, like, say you have, you kill some fucking dude coming from the Necro vendor by the Northern Bandit camp, and he's got like 20 candles, 15 fucking circles. Well, you can take it to a necro vendor and sell it for this much more than you could on the market. You can sell it for 10 gold at this necro vendor, but you got to take the risk of going to Kornesh, like, just something. Yeah. Like, literally give players any motivation to go to. And like, I don't know if you've been to Kornesh. It's a cool ass place, bro. It's a nifty little town. GK is the same thing. Like, it's a little dead, but if you give people a reason to go there, like, things might change.
I mean, for shits and giggles, you should also just be able to smoke Nawat with your buddies. Come on.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree.
That would be awesome.
I think another great thing would be like let's all be honest here. The market in Kornesh, there's nothing going on. There is no market in Kornesh or anything.
I mean, if Kirk Bell's not putting something on there, ain't shit getting listed, because nobody has the balls to go there and craft shit. Nobody has the balls to go there and list shit. Period.
Yeah. So it's like, why? I understand it'd be a bit. It could be like game changing for certain things, but the idea of like certain markets being linked would make it so much better, because like the idea of going red means you no longer have access to the economy of the game. You can't go into town and use any of the markets or anything. So why can't I go to Kornesh and use the market and be able to, maybe for an increased cost, because it needs to be delivered from Fab to Kornesh.
What you just said, delivered as well, depending on where the market is. There's a literal like in-game time you have to wait for it to be delivered. Exactly. Like it costs, it's the same price, but like depending, like if you're in fucking Kornesh and you're getting something delivered from, GK, that's not that horribly far away, but you know what I mean? Like MK, somewhere on the opposite side of the map, it's going to cost 20 more gold. Whereas if it's from Fab, it's 5 more gold. Pendulum, 7 more gold,
And which is something that they might have with TC, like, well, for long, we, Integrity Castle is in the middle of fucking map, pretty much. You know, like we've discussed trying to set up a house where like you share the password to buyer seller, and like because we don't have the option of having a broker in there, it's just never come to fruition. But it's a missing resource. Like if that could be like a little fucking house that you could come to and fucking trade and interact with, like everyone around the map would fucking bring shit there. I wouldn't even care if it was like paid for or whatever. Just if that had more activity altogether in a safe environment or not safe environment, whatever. Like, but the game is forcing us to try to implement these things that are nearly impossible to accomplish without working with every single guild on the map.
Well, going back to like being able to sell illegal things at red towns and red camps or whatever, like you look at what necromancy spells used to be. When I got my first necromancy spell, that spell I got, it was like Raise Walker, Control Walker. It was like 150 fucking gold when I got it. Now you can literally buy like damn near all the Raise Walker spells, Control, Command, all that shit for like under a gold. So why not have those scrolls be worth, like there's a necro vendor like I mentioned in Karnesh, and you can take, you know, oh, say you run this night, you kill somebody who's got like 10 of these useless ass scrolls that don't sell for shit on the market. You could take it to this vendor, and if you get like 50 silver a fucking pop, a gold a pop, 10 gold depending on the spell, like whatever, at least it gives you some sort of activity, some sort of value to the item, something you can do, like some sort of motivation to go to an area you normally wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it's an activity draw for that one area. It's like, you know, you will then start picking up these spells which can actually be worth money now in this specific area. So it's like, do you take the risk of taking, you know, 4 or 5 otherwise useless necro spells in the current market to Kranesh and potentially die? But like, I think the idea of like Kranesh in these red towns is meant to be like an honor amongst thieves, where people will go there and allow each other to sort of like buy things, trade things, and make things, and everyone's a red player, so you'll have this like combined understanding that, you know, we could kill each other at any moment, but, you know, honor amongst thieves. In reality, that doesn't happen. You'll get one guy from whichever guild stand in front of the priest, wait for someone to spawn, and then kill them, and then wait for them to spawn and kill them again, and then just basically priest lock them in that one area until they either log out or go somewhere else to spawn. And that is the unfortunate reality of like an actual player base compared to a game design vision.
Yeah.
Because it's never going to work in the way of, yeah, no, don't worry. I understand you're all red players. I understand I could kill you and you couldn't report me and I could still just take all your stuff for free. But it's honor amongst thieves. We're not going to hurt each other here.
Well, I think like what you just described is, you know, I personally think that if it's a lawless area, it should be a red priest, but I think that is why areas like the cave camp and specifically the jungle camp are blue priests, to prevent what you just said. Because like if you're some fucking noob and bro, the first time I left Talkside to go to the jungle camp, it took me 4.5 motherfucking hours one way. And believe it or not, I'd never died to a player up to that point. And the first time I died, I walked out, was trying to fuck with some satyrs, got smoked, spawn, and Pyre and like Circus were down there just camping the fucking priest. I ended the stream, and for like an hour and a half, I spawned naked at that priest, attacking these motherfuckers, getting fucking like having every insult you could ever imagine thrown at me. And like to the point where Naboo, who was one of them, is in Levia now and still trolls the fuck out of me if he gets a chance to the point where I had to ban. He's the only dude I've had to ban from MO2 in my chat, because he would literally come in here, him with his guild, and be like, if you fucking come up and talk side ramp, we're gonna fucking murder you, blah blah blah, like just, you know, just silly shit like that. So I think that's kind of the reason. Now, did it prevent them from doing it? Not so much, because let's be real, I couldn't kill them and, you know, make them have to sit there and fucking wait. But I think that's kind of the reason. It's having that possibility of spamming 50 fucking murder counts in 20 minutes is somewhat of a deterrent to keep people from doing that. Because if you're a noob and you make that journey down there, and you're not like me, just some fucked in the head guy who ran his head into the wall for an hour just to be a prick and inconvenience somebody, you're gonna spend all that time going down there. You're gonna get priest camp 2 fucking times, and you're just gonna quit. You're just, well, fuck this, I'm done.
Yep.
Or you're gonna home priest, and then you're never gonna goddamn go to the jungle camp again. You know, and it's like, I think unfortunately that's why there are those blue priests in those lawless areas, because like, let's be honest, even with the blue priest, man. I mean, like, I don't know if Anthony's still in here or not, but like, goddamn, Anthony and Caden, if you go watch some of Anthony's old stream, dudes, like that motherfucker, like, it's hilarious watching them shove these guys in the fire. Like, watching fucking Anthony just, hey, all right, yeah, fucking getting back in the fire, like, just fucking keeping them in mercy and shoving them around. You got Caden fucking hooping and hopping. It's hilarious. But like, if you're a new player and you just come down there, man, like, that's one of the most fuck situations you could ever walk into, you know? Yeah. So there has to be this weird balance.
A potential idea that I would have for something like that is just have like red guards in that area where they will only defend a very specific area. So you can spawn and not just get priest camped to death, but anything literally one step out of those walls is free game. But it's like, okay, this is our town. We know a lot of murderers come here, but we're not just going to let you kill each other in the street because we have commerce going through here. We have, trade going through here. So it's like, it might work, it might not. But again, this is something that they could try and test out and see if it works correctly. And if it does, that might be great. Like, red guards protect the priest and they protect the bank, or do they protect the entirety of Kranesh? It's like, it's very easy to just sort of like test out these different systems and find the balance with what works and what doesn't. Maybe no guards is the best way to go, or one guard protecting the priest and certain parts of the bank, or guards protecting the entirety of Kranesh. Could work, could not work. We don't know.
I mean, Phil and Chaz trying to make a valued point on top of that is that red players can still get into blue towns, and that's why red towns aren't flourishing. But I've also seen, passing by Kranesh where horses are 3 gold a pop because someone actually brought them there. Yeah. Not that it happens very often, but like, you can get stuff in there.
Oh, well, it's like Sweet Pep. Her little gem of the ass will ride up a pack of horses up to GK and list them for 5 gold when everybody else has got a damn mongrel horse. It's half beaten to death. You buy it as fucking starving, has 20 HP for 50. So like, yeah, there are people out, Kirk Bell is another example. If I guarantee you on hopefully Monday, when the game comes back up, pop over to Kranesh or look at Kranesh's market, and I would bet fucking money about the only person you're going to see selling at least probably 80% of the listings are going to be her. So it's like, and I think enough of the red players have given her like a pass, you know what I mean? So she's one of the few who has the balls to even go there in the first fucking place. And then once it's seen, like, okay, yeah, she's cool. Hell, your horse saved me. You're fucking the sword you made, bro. If it wasn't for that little bit of durability where it's impeccable, I'd have fucking died. Like, so they're like, yeah, this person is helping me. Like, so maybe if other people take those risks, help, maybe they walk there, get murdered, then get priest camp for 30 minutes. Who knows? But
well, that's also reputation based, because first of all, fucking, we all love Sweet Pep 100%. Her prices not so much, but I also understand where she's coming from. So she's making a killing off of just selling horses, which previously was not really viable up until the act events started coming up. Like, horses were whatever, and then once they all got murdered, that's when it kind of started evening out and worked out for her, because we were murdering lots of horses.
Yeah, what we were talking about, the value of red cities is decreased by the fact that murderers with 1,000 murder counts are still able to go into blue cities. I don't necessarily like the rep system, but there does have to be that, like, I think if somebody puts in the time that Tats did over like a fucking week, I think they should be rewarded with access, because what it comes down to is it's not about, oh, I'm in Tendrinum. For me, it's about just being able to have access to, like, one, let's be real, 80 or more % of the fucking player base is in Meduli, Tendrinum, or Fab. So like, you're getting access to the largest community centers in the game. And I think if you're taking time to run those parcels and repent for your sins, that you should be fucking rewarded with access to these community centers. The ability to walk in and just shoot the shit with some random person, manipulate or lie to some noob or something like that, beg for fucking golden horses. But there has to be something that, like we were saying, that gives value, a purpose, some sort of motivation to go and take the risk of going to a red city.
The only reason I don't go to red cities is, and as a red player, because I have like 30 plus bird accounts at this point, which in the grand scheme of things isn't like shitloads compared to a lot of other people that have like thousands. But I keep on top of my standing solely because I want access to the banks and I want access to the main economy of the game, which is the auction houses, because there is no like auction life in any of the red towns that I know of. If they were connected and I could pay a fee for things to be delivered from certain towns, that'd be great. Like, I don't know, I'm now in Kranesh because I'm a red player and I want to get something from Fabinum. It's not that far away, so I could choose for it to be delivered within this amount of time. I pay 20 gold for an item, 5 gold for delivery, and then it will be in that bank ready for me to pick up in 2 hours. Or
that's a really good suggestion.
Or I could get it from all the way over in Morinkur, but now that's 20 gold for the item and another 20 gold for it to be delivered because of how far away it is. And it's like, yes, I understand. Okay, that then takes away the idea of riding all the way over to MK to get it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to ride all the way over to MK to buy something in MK and then ride all the way back to Fabinum to put it in my bank. I understand the whole risk and reward thing, but it gets to a point where it's just redundant because it's like it's such a long journey and you have to dedicate so much to it.
Mm-hmm.
That yes, players will do it, but will the majority of players do it? Which is the big question. What is best for the majority of players? Because I understand there's a lot of like niche players that would be like, oh, you know, they're all Care Bears. They don't understand how rough it was back in the day when we played X game and it was this hard. This is easy compared to that. I understand that there are those players and that they do enjoy that type of gameplay, but for this game to be successful, and we're talking about how a game is going to be successful to a large market, because at the end of the day, the more successful this game is, the more we get out of it, because the more they have coming in and the more motivated they are to create new content. So if it's better for the majority of the players, it's better for everybody. So it's like, yeah, should they be able to bring things over from MK? I think you should be able to order something from MK, and maybe it takes 24 hours for it to reach Fabinum. Okay, I've bought 3 stacks of leather from MK because it was slightly cheaper, and I'm paying for it to be delivered here because they didn't have any on the market at the time, but I really need it right now. So 24 hours and it'll be here. Or, okay, I don't want to pay an extra 20 gold for it to be delivered from there. I'm going to wait for it to come up on the markets here.
Or you could even have it to a point to where the market's not necessarily connected so much as the buy orders are. Like if you can make a buy order like, hey, I need 10 steel swords or some shit like that, and then the buy orders are what were delivered. You know, so like there's a couple ways they could try it back and forth if they didn't want to like completely destroy or fuck with the actual market itself in each individual town. There are a couple of ways they could work around it.
Well, not even as a workaround, but making that a player-based quest rather than through market channels or whatever. If you could do something where you have that type of buy order and it's like, I need this from here or gold transfer XYZ, like,
oh yeah, exactly.
It would just kind of expand on it. So yes, now a guild has to take on that contract and they need to pay insurance of whatever the delivery charge is, but get X amount more when they get there successfully.
Yeah.
But then what happens to those original items? That's where
you could do it as like those items are in limbo and they pick up a parcel. Like it's like, oh, these are the buy orders. I want to take this one, and it gives you a parcel the same as it does whenever you're transferring parcels for more rep, and then you just choose where you want to where you're starting from. And there's parcels, right? I'm in MK. I've got a parcel that goes to GK for this much money. I've got a parcel that goes to Bhakti for this much money, or I could say, screw it. I've got a parcel that goes all the way to Tindrum, and I'm going to get this amount of money. Which risk am I willing to take? All right, well, now a new guild is being created, or I don't know, Northern Bank takes up that job for some of their people where they're just like, right, we're going to get together and move some of these parcels over here. And it generates more people moving around the map for different reasons and causes, has people wanting to do these sort of things to go to these sort of areas.
And I agree. I'm just saying, what happens when someone intercepts the party that's moving the parcel? Do they not get the stuff? Do they not get the gold? Like, there's the trade-off.
I think they should get it, but just like if you imagine in Red Dead Redemption, you're fucking jumping a stagecoach or some shit. I think it should be the same sort of situation. Like you catch wind of something, you see, because like you see a
But
group
they'd
of people
still have
running
to
around.
deliver it to get rewarded, right?
See,
Okay.
I would hope, just because of the whole open world MMO sandbox or blah 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 blah, blah that bullshit, I would hope you just smirk them, you could take it and go your own way. But you know, again.
But if it's only on a parcel system and that's how it's built, because I like the idea, I'm just trying to flesh it out.
See, I wouldn't necessarily.
We know we're all going to murder each other.
I wouldn't want like the parcel side of things. Like maybe you accept like the maybe you like how you similar to a bounty. You accept it. You get a specific contract. Say this one's soul bound, so if you die or some shit or have to go somewhere or something, you don't lose it. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's part of the whole risk reward system. But like you can have the buy order in your inventory, but you still have to physically transport the items. That's the only way I would want that to work. Unless it is just like a bullshit ass like, oh, I'm buying this. I'm in Cornesh. I'm buying this from MK. It's going to take, 48 in-game hour, not IRL hours, but 48 in-game hours for it to be delivered to this location for an extra amount of gold, Like, unless they're actually players that can be fucking murked, have that shit stolen, because then you get like roaming bandits, you get like, I don't know, it makes people a little bit more likely to kind of get up and make those, let's go farm some calcs farmers, miners. Let's go get some free calcs. While you're doing that, you look over, you see a group of people running. You're like, hold on a second. That looks, there's fucking 12 people over there. Let me call them out. Let me hop and Omer to Discord and pop a ping here. Let's see what let's see what we can get going. Which I mean, to an extent that already happens, but I don't know, like me personally, I want as much in this game as possible. But again, like we mentioned previously, I think we're getting close to a point where maybe they need to start trying to slow shit down a bit. Throw another game polish on the old roadmap or something, like it's just like there's so many things they need to do.
Just polish.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. Like if they actually get the issues, polished out, I don't think. I mean, obviously, content wise, people would probably start to piss and moan, but like, it just gets to a point, man. Like we mentioned earlier, it's like building a fucking house of cards, and you just keep building and building and building on that same weak foundation, and then eventually it's just going to crash, and you're not going to be able to solve every little fucking little nook and cranny, every little problem that pops up as you continually add on top of it. But I don't think parcels and shit should disappear. Like, I think they should just expand on it and make it maybe a little bit more engaging than like, okay, I'm just going to put my horse on third gear and we're going south. All right, I'm just going to text for the next 15 minutes. Okay, I need to stop for Stam. Okay, now we're going, all right, we're in Medulla. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the game I wish they would make a little bit more engaging.
I wish all of the things from MO1 were in MO2 before it even released. And I think like that should have been one of the main pushes in the first place. MO2 should have released with everything from MO1, and then they continue to add new stuff.
I would agree with that statement. I think it would have. I mean, it would have been a ton of content.
Yeah,
tremendous amount of content for people, and there would have been much more of a loop for gameplay.
And like hell, if they did implement a wipe system, not saying they would or they should, but if they did that and they did implement a wipe system, you still have loads of content to do. Like, oh, I spent this wipe over in Tindrum doing all the things around Tindrum and the Tindremic province. A wipe comes around, oh, I'm going to go and try this side of the map and all the content over here. And again, not saying that would have been the right idea or the best idea, but with that amount of content, if they had everything from MO1 in MO2, it would have kept people a lot more interested for a longer period of time before a full release comes out and they're like, right, cool, full release is out, have at it. We're never wiping again.
It's been really awesome listening. And I think a lot of the ideas that you guys are suggesting in terms of like risk reward for red cities and stuff like that, they're all great ideas. And I mean, I hope we can all stay optimistic about the game and that it continues to improve. And but we'll see. Time will tell. But I really appreciate you having me on, Greg. I really, really do.
Well, I believe that will probably wrap things up for everybody because, believe it or not, I should have been fucking editing and doing actually productive shit this entire time instead of listening to grown men scream at each other. But it was fun either way. Thank you guys for chit-chatting and allowing me just to sit here and get stoned and click around on some Twitch VODs. So I appreciate it.